Right, welcome to the stream. Tonight, we're finally doing another live build. We're doing the 2006 X-Wing. There's one called X-Wing Starfighter. X-Wing Fighter from 2006. Finally getting another live build. And adjust the camera a bit. There we go. You get the cooler kind of background. But this is what we're here to do. I'm going to double check. I'm going to have to go for the TV to make sure this is working. Library.
Okay. This guy. Hey, if you like Lego Star Wars.
That's brought up one of my own shorts. Yeah, you're not late. You only just started 1 minute ago.
Started 1 minute ago.
Right, I've checked. I've confirmed. I am able to confirm that the audio is working. I'm late. This is the time I said I'd do it. I had stuff on today. Oh, by the way, since we're at it, check out the pinned comment. Yes, I'm 3 minutes past 8. Oh, by the way, if you like Transformers or Power Rangers, check out the pinned comment channel. Greatly appreciate it. Anyway, we're building this, the 2006 X-Wing, which is kind of sealed, right? So the box is open. When I purchased it, it was sealed. But all the bags are what is sealed. So these are all 20-year-old sealed bags. And interestingly, they're not numbered bags. These are... It's quite random the way they do it. But yes, I said 8. No, I've not looked it up. I can't be bothered. I've only been told... You know, back when Lego instructions were actually had the art on them. I'll do it later. On an ad for the game which was coming out at the time. Nice. Just getting all my building materials in front of me. Hey there, Ryan. Got bag. So this set is pretty cool, but it's even cooler because this one has one of them layers with the smoothed out hair pieces. It's in one of these bags. But that'll be a figure. Am I short? Alright, we're not doing the questions again, alright? 5'6" or 7. Something like that. But I'll leave the build thing here. I'm going to go get something to drink. We're going to be Yep, that's what we're building tonight. X-Wing. Here's what we're going to do. Nice. I'm going to get a drink. And then we're going to get started. Because I've got a feeling this will be... It's not going to be a long live. Like, it's not a big set. No, I'm not doing any mods. I don't know who that is. I can't put any... Right, let me point something out. I cannot put any music or anything that has a copyright on in the background because it's fine when we're live streaming. It's not a problem. But when this uploads afterwards as a full YouTube video, which I like to let them do that, YouTube will copyright me there and you won't be able to see it. So when we're building this, the box is no longer sealed, but got a lot of sealed bags. This set's from all the way back in 2006. So I'm going to get a drink and then we're pretty much going to get started. So I'll be answering questions. I'll put something on the background and something copyright free. I can watch other YouTuber stuff. That doesn't appear to be a problem. And we're going to build the X-Wing. It's the first live build on YouTube since I did the 2007 UCS Falcon. I tell you one thing. This is... it's back when the instructions actually had the art. Now they don't even do art on the instructions. I always forget that's changed as well. Anything cool in the background? Back this. I do. When they see when you upload a live stream, it goes through the same process. Funny enough, I had a haircut not long ago. My hair used to come down to about there. check this, right? I only own one of the other sets in the back of this, but other 2006 sets. I do have that Star Destroyer, and it was a TikTok live build. Trust me, I get asked all the time when getting a haircut. Trust. Really, I look a mess. Well, guess what? You're out of the stream. So I'm not putting up with that. You're in a 10-minute ban because it's not like I only give the 24-hour ones. People say, "Sir, yeah, I have long hair. That's like kind of normal now." It's all right. I'm not bothered. There's nothing that a teacher has not said to me in high school. I used to get loads of crap for having long hair from teachers. But yeah, leave comments below. We're gonna get this all sorted out. And we're getting it built. This is a nostalgic set, and I can actually give you a bit of a story time lore drop while I'm building it. But for anyone who's joining the stream on the way, they can see the box. I tell you one thing, this is a glossy box. It's back when the boxes actually had quite a lot of effort put into them. 5 likes and 20 people watching on it. This is going to be the stream. The shorts I've been uploading the last 2 days have been bringing new people in. I've been loving that. All right, I'm back. But no, this live stream's already off to a great start. This set, I can give a Captain Rex Production 72 lore drop with this set, right? This set has quite a bit of nostalgia to me, right? And I'll give you a fun fact about this set. Compared to any other Lego X-Wing, right? This had one of the longest shelf lives. No, I was getting something to drink. This set had one of the longest lifespans. This set was in stores from 2006 to 2010, which non-UCS set, that's quite a long run. But it's a pretty cool set, this. And it's one of the only X-Wings, right, that had Empire Strike Back minifigures. The only other one that had Empire minifigures was the one from 2004, which had Yoda and Luke, but it was like the training thing, and it had R2 in it. So pretty cool, and you get 2 options. This is something they don't do on modern X-Wings anymore either. So you can see here on the box, right, where my fingers are, it gives you the option to either have it as Wedge Antilles or Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, which is... You know, if you're going to keep being insulting, I'll just remove you, but... Yeah, it's a pretty cool set. This is like, for me, right, in terms of someone will come out and yell 2018 X-Wing in the comments, because this happened last time. For me, the best 2 playscale X-Wings, right, was this and the 2012 one were the best 2 playscale ones. I have 2012 up here, actually. So it's one of this and the TIE Fighter, I think, are the TIE Fighter and the Vulcan are the only vehicles I have many multiples of. This is the one here from 2006. No, sorry, this is the 2... How old am I? I'm 22. This is the X-Wing from 2012. Granted, this piece I just put on there for safekeeping, but this one's pretty cool. And it's this one has the gearbox inside it for the wings, rather than the twist it like this one is. But yeah, this one I keep in the episode 4 display. The new X-Wing, since it comes with Empire-related figures, I'll put up with the Empire Strikes Back stuff. And you know what? You're out. Do you know what? The joke's on you, man. I actually make money from doing this. Yeah, I'm not going to be continuously insulted. But yeah, so here's the lore drop on this set. So when I was a kid, and hey, I'll hold the box on it. When I was a kid, right, I got this set ran from 06 to 2010, which was not something a lot of sets back then did. And I remember in 2000 and it was early 2011, I think it was, right? I got this. I think it's because I managed to find it, my parents managed to find it on clearance at the time, but this set is very, very nostalgic. You know, I've had this set 3 times. So I had my original one as a kid. Absolutely loved it. So when I got into Lego Star Wars in 2008, there was no X-Wing that you could buy. Well, I suppose there was this one, but they weren't readily available, but they were out. So that was like the first X-Wing I could have gotten. And this was a year before we got the other one. And it was on my that and the Millennium Falcon were like the two biggest highlights for me to get as a kid. I do have that said Falcon up on display, but I'm trying to think what the best way for building this is going to be. I'm just going to fix this area over here. But I had it, and obviously I had to, as I've mentioned before, maybe I'll make a short, briefly explaining it. I'm never going to fully explain this because it goes into right personal kind of territory. But I had to start recollecting Lego again in 2015 from the base up. In 2019, I bought another copy, but I was 16 and it was like, you know, I hadn't really had a job yet. So it was bought on like a severe budget. And I sold it back in 2022. Yeah, 2022, because the yellow winging, it got too much to the point where the set looked a bit dodgy. And at that point, I'd bought a sealed 2012, so I sold it. And here we are, 4 years later, building it again because it's a nostalgic set. And this time I bought a sealed one because this set had a pretty cool thing about it. So you see the Leia that you get there, right? She's in her Hoth outfit. This set had something cool about it with the Leia, where I'm going to put it in the background of the stream there so people will see it as I'm building. But the Leia had a thing with it. So, take for example, right, here's a regular Leia from that era. She's in the episode 4 outfit. You can see the ridges and you can see the details in her hair. Some of those sets, right, and people did find them in other sets, but it was most common in that set to find a Leia with her head completely smooth due to a factory error. That figure is worth about £250 to £300. That set only cost me 100 sealed. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm one of these autistic people who plays with his hair. So yeah, you're in that type of stream. Anyway, a set. This will be fun. There's no numbered bags, by the way. None of the bags are 6 likes already. Right, so because this bag has parts of Leia and it's got some of Chewbacca, and it's got the thing with the rubber bands. This is Backlund rubber band technology. This bag here is mostly small parts, Han Solo's hair, and like oh! Alright, oh yeah, because it's 2006, it's chrome lightsaber hilts. Nice. This bag here is mostly just some red parts, R2-D2's head. Alright, a good chunk of R2's in there, but not all of them. Georgie Curry, hey. This bag here contains the bit that... So I did not buy this knowing that it was in here. I just got lucky. So this is the thing I'm on about that made Leia survival. See that air piece between my fingers? That's a smooth one. I opened it to check. I opened this set like a month ago. Check. This is mostly just wings. Same deal with this bag. And this one has mostly got like the pilots in it, some leg pieces. Who in this set has white legs? Oh, Leia does. I thought. No. And this bag is just kind of mostly heads and stuff. So, because of the way that this is, I cannot just do one bag at a time. I have to do it the kind of old school Lego set. It's going to take a while, but it'll be a long stream for that reason. I don't know. I have not built this set in a long time. But, you know, let's open it up. Let's get the parts going, and we're going to get started. So the first thing you got to do is build all them minifigures. Well, let's get started. So I'm trying to think how I want to do this for the parts, is to not misplace or lose them. Oh, I banned one for 10 minutes, the one that was just a little bit rude, and the one that called me a child got 24-hour ban. Look, some people might say I'm unreasonable. I think I'm more than reasonable. Right, well, here's what we'll do. I will not open the wing bang yet. 6-7. Oh, there's a really funny joke I like to make when I hear that. Unfortunately, we cannot do that joke. Otherwise, I will get banned. Right, so we need to open up the figures on that first. Do you know what? Just to do it the old school way, we're going to open all the parts into a pile over at the side, because that's... Do you know what's funny? I recently found out, right, what 6-7 actually means. It is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But yeah, so back in the old days when some Lego sets, you'd have to pour all the parts out into one. That's just how it was at one point, without the number bags, so we're going to build it that way. We'll make the stream longer and kind of more interesting. Plus, this is the way I would have built it originally. The smooth-haired Leia. The hell you on about, Sam Brown? What does 6-7 mean? I think someone told me it was from a rap song that's viral or something like that. Right. Getting all the parts out. Right, man, if you guys comment weird stuff, you're out. Right, so this is the part I'm on about. So this Leia head is completely smooth. There's no ridges or anything like that. Trust me, I think the most I've ever had at one go in the stream for a while was 70. That was in that stream that got nearly 300 views at once. So this is what I'm talking about. This was what made the Leia rare, was the headpiece completely smooth. Nah, I'm good. Right, let's get started. So, first thing we got to do, is build the minifigs. We'll do that first. So, man, it's been a while since I've seen some of these old school minifigures, right? I do have all the minifigures that appear in this set, but the ones that are you guys going to continuously comment? Do you know what? Continue to comment and watch the stream. It makes me money. So I am in no way bothered by you doing that. So, first figure we got, he has no accessories, is Wedge Antilles. Yeah, he says anything else, he's getting banned. So Wedge Antilles, cool extra minifigure they give you. Who are we going to build next? We'll build Luke. Tell you one thing, right? I got to love about this era of Lego Star Wars. Chrome lightsaber helps. Well, you know what, man? You're out. I can have a joke, but I'm not sitting here while everyone else gets annoyed. But that's Han's head. That's Leia's head. But yeah, everyone, if any of you guys or have interest like Transformers or anything like that, go check out the pinned comment. He also does Power Rangers. It's a close friend of mine. Just get all the minifigure parts sorted out. How long? Nah, you're not banned. It's the other guy. The guy who wanted to go around shouting 6-7 and poop and other, dumb stuff I can't be bothered with in the comment section. We're here to chill out, relax, build some Legos, not put up with that nonsense. Anyway, so I'm trying to get the Leia together right now, because that is a minifigure that, like I said, I'll be going in my cabinet with the other ones that are kind of rare. As I've been showing off, and you can find that in shorts and stuff. Man, this is cool. See, I don't remember, granted, right, we're going back 15, 16 years ago here, But I don't remember if my original copy of this set back in the day had a smooth hair layer or not. But with the completely smooth piece, I will make an actual short here on YouTube showing off the differences between one that has the smooth hair and one that doesn't. That will come out probably tonight. Next up, we'll do Han Solo. The Han Solo is basic, but I do miss when they used to use the old school face piece for him. They had this one head they would put on Han Solo, and they used it. I think they must have stopped using it in 2010, but did get a semi-good run. I'm not saying things, I'm concentrating. Right, Chewbacca's next. Now, Luke Skywalker is the only minifigure in this set who has any kind of accessory. There's Chewbacca, which was the standard Chewbacca back in the day. Tell you what, I'll say if this live gets to 10 likes. I say that, but watch that, how quickly that sometimes happens. Right, we just got to find R2-D2's head, legs, and the blade for Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Man, I love that this is chrome. Plus, the cool thing is, a couple of these figures I've had to use on the Complete Saga display behind me. So, they're not on the shelf of the rest of the stuff they should be next to. So, this kind of replenishes that. Plus, in my mind, the minifigures in this set are that good. You're not a fan of Lego, no? Eh. You can tell I'm a big Lego fan. So the R2-D2 in this set was the same one they kept around from 99 to 99 till 2008. This one hung around with the half print dome. Let's see, where is the lightsaber blade pieces? So if I remember correctly, you start up when you're building poop. What is it, people, when typing the word poop? And here he is with the chrome lightsaber blade. Looks perfect. Luke Skywalker. So that's... Right, I have collected Lego twice. My original collection was from like 2008 to 2013. And then I had to restart in 2015. I'm not going to get into why, but this collection's 11 years worth of collecting currently. So that's all the figures. As a reminder, you got the Luke Skywalker, which is an alright minifigure. R2-D2, who's the basic one from that time. Chewbacca, who again was the basic one at the time. The Han Solo is a kind of a cool minifigure. Just because that was... In the last 15 years, we've had Han Solo in his Hoth outfit quite a few times, but back then that was not normal. The Wedge Antilles is cool. It's just another pilot, really. So he'll be going in the briefing scene up in the Home 1 set on the shelf. And really, for me, the cool part of this set was getting a smooth layer. I'm not really a football kind of guy. So that's just got the minifigures together and organized. In fact, I'm going to put them up here. But no, that smooth hair layer, that's the crazy thing. I could probably sell that for good money. I'm tempted to, but then I realize, right? See, before I bought this set, I'd actually been planning to buy one. So I might as well just keep the thing. Right, let's start off with the actual X-Wing. I'm going to put some background noise on for myself, but, I will still be answering, your comments. The live short, I'm actually just on my Xbox now going on YouTube, right? The live short for this managed to get 1,000 views. I'm not saying this live stream will. You collected since 2018. What's it? I started originally collecting 10 years before that. My collection's a little bit nuts recently. So yeah, we got 1,000. How much did we get exactly?
Hey,
It doesn't let me check that on Xbox.
this guy.
Did not realize I could watch shorts on an Xbox on YouTube. I don't know why I never thought that. So who knows, right? Maybe we'll get the same amount of something similar. So you actually came here because of the short. Well, thank you very much.
I have never seen.
Oh, you know, a lot of people ended up subscribing through those shorts. See, I have never really posted shorts until yesterday, right? I had a few that were up before that. All right, whatever. I had never really intentionally uploaded shorts. It wasn't something that I did. But, actually, a bunch of videos that I made. See, when YouTube first brought up the shorts thing, there was a whole bunch of videos, right, that I had made prior to the shorts existing that YouTube decided to make shorts automatically. So that's kind of why there is so many. Basically, I think it was any video that was a minute or under at one point they were doing. Gardner V8T Cave. What? That's a bro. This young people talk that I do not understand. Right. Let's get started. See. All right, fair enough. But yeah, we're continuing. For those who are just joining, we're building the 2006 X-Wing fighter. Let's actually see. I will be live until this is done. I charged my phone right up before doing this stream because I wanted to do like the full thing. But yeah, so just, and apparently I also wanted to drop it, but you didn't hear that from me. Perhaps a tripod will eventually be a good investment for these guys. They're doing well and have actually made some money behind them, so I'm tempted to start putting money into them. But yeah, I'm going to put some background noise on, right? 10 likes. 180! I said I'd say it when I got the likes, so there you go. I'm going to put this guy on in the background. He's ranking episodes of Futurama just for my entertainment.
In Futurama. Now, I know that sounds bad, especially coming from the guy who's seen every episode of The Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, Big Mind. But good news, everyone.
But yeah, you start in the middle of the X-Wing and kind of come out, so it's like the main body.
Watching Futurama before now is for one very simple reason. See, from Kid Me's perspective, it wasn't The Simpsons. All I cared about watching on Sky One, and so to me, Futurama was just that weird space show that would air before The Simpsons every night. But the characters aren't yellow, so what's even the point? I think my dad probably played a part in that as well. As a kid, we would watch The Simpsons in our living room together, from after dinner until they stopped airing it for the night. Sky usually playing 4 episodes from 6 to 8 p.m. Futurama on the
Joe, that's right. Futurama is elite. I do like that it came back. It's not been, it's not the best, but it's not been ruined. Like, I do enjoy the new episodes. Like, they're not unwatchable. That
other show and why it looked so much like it, he didn't show much interest in checking it out then, so neither did I.
Honestly, for me, right, I'm autistic, so Lego relaxes my brain a bit.
Going through relatable situations
plus, I'm a Star Wars fan, so it kind of like, there's two things I enjoy. Something I've just remembered, because I've not built a set this old in a while. The little stars and stuff in the background of the instructions.
And so I've heard nothing but
not something we get anymore.
I see folks
like the Lego. All right, we've got all the functions
character development, and generally just for being an incredibly smart series that manages to stand on its own, away from The Simpsons. I mean, these writers had goddamn PhDs and master's degrees. All I got is a copy of Madagascar for PS2. Because of that, I've been shown a handful of episodes here and there. Nothing major, just the 1 or 2 episodes everybody raves about. And so I'm looking forward to finally getting to check out the whole thing from start to finish. Whether or not this actually is
I gotta find these gear pieces.
See, Futurama is a show that has been cancelled and subsequently revived more than... Well, a show that's been cancelled and subsequently revived more than twice. And because of that, there's no telling how long Futurama will actually go on for.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Initially produced by Fox from 1999 to 2000.
I have a lot of friends who played with Lego as kids, but they never continued as an adult. For me,
Adult
it
Swim
just makes my
reruns,
brain
which
shut
have
off and it's like
interest.
really
Comedy
relaxing.
Central stepping in to produce a set of 4 straight-to-DVD movies that would later be split into an eventual season 5 in 2008, which in and of itself resulted in them making an additional 2 seasons, 6 and 7 coming out from 2010 to 2013. All seemed well before Comedy Central then cancelled the series yet again, the show only making a brief comeback in 2014 for a crossover with The Simpsons back on Fox. Don't worry, I'm aware this is complicated. There'll be time to get into the details later. Either way, after a near decade-long wait, Hulu has taken the reins to produce new episodes, with 2023 through 2024 seeing season 8 and 9. And now they've confirmed a 10th and 11th season that will release throughout 2025 and 2026. So for the time being, seems like Futurama's here to stay. Now, whether or not that's a good thing remains to be seen, as one thing I've also consistently heard
Irish,
on
I'm
the show
Scottish.
is that the fan opinions on each revival seems to be fairly mixed. Some think the series has
There's a
pretty
bag I
consistent
didn't
throughout
open.
its
Well,
lifetime,
that's not
no matter
smart.
when it came out, while others believe there to be serious diminishing returns every time it's brought back from the dead. The recent Hulu season's marking a definite low point in quality. I mean, I don't know, I haven't watched it. At the time of Futurama's conception, The Simpsons was already in its 5th season as creator Matt Groening was approached by Fox to create another series for
There we
them,
go, that's the
in which he
correct
started
one.
to come up with the idea that would eventually lead to Futurama in 1995, with the help of Simpsons alumni David Cohen. Over the many years of trying to get the show on the air, a time in which Groening described as the worst experience of my grown-up life, there was a ton of back and forth over how much involvement the network would have, Fox infamously having very little input into the actual writing of The Simpsons and what they were allowed to get away with. But times had changed. A kid burned their house down and killed their sister over a Beavis and Butthead episode. There was more of a conscious effort on networks' parts to make sure they weren't promoting any bad or antisocial behavior. So in response, Matt said, "Fuck you, I made The Simpsons, I'm doing whatever the hell I want." And now we have Futurama. You know the drill. I'm excited to see where my first impressions end up laying compared to the average fan. And so without further ado, it's time to review and rank every Futurama episode.
Right, I'm just looking for a piece. Couple of pieces up there. So I've got the stair piece here.
Space Pilot 3000 is hands down one of the greatest examples of a first episode. It should be used as the gold standard. It's that good. It's here we meet Philip J. Fry, a down on his luck pizza delivery boy. He's got a crummy job, his girlfriend's just dumped him, and now he's got to spend the start of the new millennium all alone thanks to Icy Wiener. Crud. However, due to, general incompetence, he winds up getting cryogenically
See, that's the
frozen
thing about
until the
building
year
Lego the old way.
2999,
You would
right in the
spend a
verge
while
of the
looking for
new
parts, but
millennium.
It's December
Things
31st,
happen.
2999.
Right, I'm missing
A
one
million
piece away from
years.
being ready.
You know, show taking place
Just,
1,000 years in the
technical
future
stuff
could not have happened at a better time.
Let's go.
Although,
Oh.
I don't know. New
Nearly
Year's
off the table
happening
there,
all
right.
over the world at the same time. Don't they know time zones exist? Are you sure these guys have master's degrees? Boy. The best thing this pilot accomplishes would have to be its world building. While managing to tell its own story, we get tons of these sprawling CG shots showing
But yeah,
off
if you're
what's
new here,
becoming the
check out
world
my
as Fry
friend Terra
attempts to
Killer
escape
T1 in the pinned
this
comment.
one-eyed alien who's been tasked with giving
well,
him a
we've been
career
friends
chip
for
which will
like
trap
nearly
him as a
10 years.
delivery boy forever. Throughout the chase, we see so much of the world and what's changed. Even getting a glimpse of what happened to old New York after they decided to rebuild over top of it, creating new New York naturally. We're also introduced to this banding robot Bander.
So this is part of the gear mechanism that will eventually let the wings come out, because that's how the older sets used to do that kind of thing.
Innocent. But at the end of the day, he's a good person with a kind heart, which allows Bander to be his perfect opposite. This selfish, mean robot who only really looks out for himself. Anytime they interact is just a treat.
It's my old neighborhood. Man, this brings back a lot of
Excuse me.
memories.
Yeah,
Keep
drink.
them to yourself, Pops.
The thing I was most surprised to see while watching this was just how much the writing managed to set itself apart from The Simpsons. A comparison this show undoubtedly needed to get itself away from as soon as possible. Whereas The Simpsons was more so focused on making fun of events and pop culture from the time, Futurama seems much more interested in using whatever was happening at the time to create these absurd scenarios of how much crazier things could be 1,000 years
Right.
from now.
Okay.
There's the freedom to
So,
trick
yeah,
themselves to
essentially,
commenting on exactly whatever
this
is
set
happening
is
on.
also the
I think the
main
joke that
belt.
got me
You can actually
hardest
play
was the
this build
introduction
in
of
the
the
LEGO
Sonic
games,
booth,
showing the complete
which we then
saga
learned
and Lego
was
Star
first
Wars
invented in
1.
2008.
It kind of makes it
I
even
mean, they
cooler
weren't
for me.
far off. Eventually, Leela also joins
The
the
amount of
team
viewers I've
and
had in and out
realizes
this
she has
live
a choice
already,
for
this
what
one
she
will
wants in the
definitely be up
future.
there
And so the three
as
that
one of the more
introduced themselves
successful
to Fry's
ones, which
only
does
living
make me
relative,
quite happy.
Professor Farnsworth,
Considering
who
it's
gives
the
them all a
first
job
live
to
build we've
ride
done in
around in
a
his
while.
spaceship as intergalactic
And the difference between when I built the
delivery
Falcon
drivers
and this is
create.
I've
I'm
managed to
always
establish.
astonished at just how
For
much
me,
they
I've got
managed to
two
pack into only
audiences,
22
right?
minutes here. There is not a second to fly.
There's the audience who
This is a
watches my
fantastic
schedule up
start
once
to
it
show
comes
that
out
really
and are
accomplishes
into
growing
that.
the viewer accustomed
There's
to
the
this new
audience,
setting
and
by
then there's the
cleverly only
audience
focusing on
that
a small
wants to
cast of
watch stuff.
characters.
You know,
I
those
know
people
we're
who want to
teasing
watch
us
both.
for what's to come in the future, Gonna be a lot of puns, I can already tell.
So, you know, now there's an audience
Oh, yeah,
established
by
for the
the way,
live streams, that
the
kind of
intro
helps
to
them out
Futurama
even
is
more.
incredibly catchy. Even
Right.
as someone who had only ever seen like 4 episodes of this show, I could hum the theme song to a T. It's iconic. I like that, despite being a fairly episodic series, episode 2 still aims to ease us into things by introducing the rest of the professor's employees, notably Hermes, who takes care of the business side of things, staff doctor, Dr. Zoidberg, as well as his intern,
Another
Amy,
cool
who just
thing
sort
now,
of appears.
for what
The
I
worst thing a show
understand,
can
right,
do, in my opinion, is
Lego
try to
did
shove
not
way
intend
too
this
much
as a
into
feature,
pilot,
but
blowing
me,
their
the
load
kid,
way too
did.
early and introducing so
There's
many
a
characters that none
way
get the chance
this
to
is
shine.
built. You
So
can
glad you took
separate the
time here.
cockpit from the
Episode
back
2
and the
mainly
wings.
focusing on an adventure
Now,
between
when I
Fry,
was
Leela, and Bender with Amy tagging
8,
along
when I got
as they
the
go
set,
to the moon on their first
I
job.
assumed that that was an
Despite being Amy's
explosion
first
feature
episode,
because
I
the cockpit
unfortunately
connects
think
on
Fry
these
and Leela
pins
once again
just here.
steal the show.
That's what I
You
assumed
know,
that
it's
was
this
for all the
monumental
time.
feat for mankind. Before finding out that it's been turned into a Disney World-esque theme park that eventually begins to lose its luster. I'm not sure how long they're going to focus on Fry being this fish out of water. Obviously, the more the series goes on, the more Fry is going to be accustomed to the future and all, but I'm going to cherish it while it lasts, because episodes like this really show the strengths in the concept. Fry getting upset to see how certain events from his time have been, well, lost to it. Getting frustrated at seeing moments which he grew up thinking were the pinnacle of mankind being undermined just because of how normal all of this is in the future, like getting
Right,
him
now
in
we
for
gotta
none
find
of
the
it.
bits of the
I enjoy
struts.
how they used
The
this
ones
to
that
bring
come out like
attention
a
to Leela's
T-shape.
mindset too. Again, her seeing all of this as the norm and not understanding why Fry is so over the moon about something. God damn it! See, it results in this super sweet moment by the end where she takes the time to actually sit and acknowledge how amazing.
Now, I'll be
this all
honest
is,
with you,
that
right?
everything
I am
she's
kind of
thought nothing
tired,
of
so, but
is
I
in
am
fact rather
still, regardless,
spectacular.
gonna aim
And we
to
get to
get
see them share that together.
this
It really
built
makes you care
throughout
about
the
their
stream.
relationship. But it's still really funny, too. This show has such a quick blink and you'll miss it style of comedy. You know, if you hear through your eyes or something, I don't know. And them being delivery people really is the perfect idea for an episodic series like
Right, there we
this.
go.
You
One
can
of
literally
those,
kick them
one of
anywhere. They're
those.
always ripe
When
for
the two are
introducing new
small kind of
characters and
pin pieces.
locations. Well, the
Or
first
the
episode
technic
did a fantastic
brackets.
job at introducing
There
the
we
world
go,
of
found
Futurama.
those.
I honestly think I like this one more for
Oh, you're
further
back,
introducing
nice.
us to these characters and their dynamics with one another.
I
Going
was
at the top of the
saying
list
that
for
this
mine.
live, with how short it's already been, it's already, in my book, been a
Rumi,
successful
unfortunately
stream.
breaks the short-lived streak of these episodes
Like,
getting
too many
better and better,
I've got two
although
more
that
parts
may
I
have
need to
been by
find.
design. See, apparently this episode was written to directly address Fox's concerns with the darker themes of the show, with the goal here being to create a more typical and sitcom-y scenario you would expect from the premise. That being, Fry gets a roommate. Who's a robot? It must have done the trick, though, as Fox reportedly hated the final product, and is most likely what convinced them to back off and let the writers do whatever they wanted. You know, who could have thunk it? Still, on its own, without knowing any of that context, it's not like this is a bad episode or anything. In fact, there's lots
Right,
to
let's
enjoy
get these
here,
belts.
mostly due to
These-
the strengths of Fry and Bender's dynamic. You know, Fry, of all the
If
friends
we
I've
get
had,
to 20,
you're the
to
first.
20 likes,
Fry
I'll
getting in
do
the way
that.
of business by living
Are
in
we
the
gonna
office,
get
he's
to? Are we
offered
gonna get to
live with
20 likes?
Bender. The two
I
of them
don't
trying
know.
to find a
We'll
good
find
apartment
out.
before Bender gets kicked out and is upset that he can't with Fry anymore. I actually think the more grounded story works well.
So building like
Also
two of
allows us
these
to see
things.
creativity in the animation department with all these different future apartments. The art direction in this show really is amazing, especially for the time. The character designs are also great.
Hey, look,
although
listen, you've
Fry's
seen how
gets
many
some
people have come in and
bias
out this
there.
live already.
This episode mainly
Right?
succeeds at strengthening
You
the
never know.
friendship
We
between Fry
this
and
could
Bender,
actually
but that's
do
about it.
semi-decently
Definitely the
enough
weakest of the
that I
first
do
three,
get
but
that
still
many
far from
likes.
bad. Got a solid ending too.
And I've dropped one of the parts. That does not help. Come back here.
Here we see Leela try to find Lev, which leads to her
A
meeting
poll.
a new character.
A poll
this
for
military
what?
officer Zep Brannigan, originally to be voiced by Phil Hartman. You might know him as Troy McClure on The Simpsons. Although after his untimely death, we've got Fry's voice actor Billy West doing his best job to fill the void.
Wow, the Zap Brannigan?
Uh-huh.
Who's the Zap Brannigan?
He's great. You can tell they really liked writing for him, especially when considering how much they bring him back in the future. He only really cares about fueling his massive ego and scoring chicks. Aw, yeah. So much of this episode
Do a
is just
poll
letting
of
him
people
stand
Lego
around and
fans.
talk, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. I love the way they draw him, too. It's hilarious. You kind of get lost in it all and forget there was a point in them seeking him out in the first place, but I don't really care. Let him run wild. Makes me forget this was also the episode to introduce Nibbler. I remember that thing being all over the marketing for the show, so I assume he sticks around. Certainly not as good as the first two,
There we
but
go.
I definitely
Right,
enjoyed it more than the
next.
last. This one's
Next is
great.
just more building up kind of paneling type stuff. So those and another one.
This episode explores Bender's feelings on robots being seen as second-class citizens, being sent down to a planet inhabited by human-hating robots where Fry and Leela find out he's been using their fear to exploit them for money and fame. Not that big a fan of this one aside from some fun gags, especially by the end with the robot elders. Like, obviously, Bender won't kill them. Really, it boils down to being one of those misunderstanding episodes where he doesn't realize they actually care about him. If only Bender could see that they were planning a surprise party for him right when he decided to turn on everyone. Darn it. It's cool seeing a new robot-themed planet, but that's about it for me. While it does a solid job at further establishing the bond between Army and 3, the process of getting there wasn't anything
Alright.
also entertaining. We just did the batch so far.
I'm looking to do the poll thing.
If only I had 2 or 3 minutes to think about it.
Well, it sure is good today's video is sponsored by Factor to buy you some time. Factor makes meeting your nutritional goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never...
Yeah, it's not giving me the option to do it, and I'm not entirely sure how you bring it up.
Chefs creating meals using
If
only
it,
ingredients
sometimes
with
it pops
integrity
up
to help you
and
feel your best. These things are ready to eat in just 2 minutes, with you getting to choose from a
sure.
menu of 35 options.
I'd be willing to do that.
Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, Vegan, and even more. There's also breakfast options, lunch snacks, and beverages. You'd never have to go to the store again. Your fridge can be packed. There's even a premium gourmet option where you can get all this fancy stuff like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter. I've never even heard of it, but it sounds good. So with all this and more, why wouldn't you head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50LSMARK to get 50% off your first Factor box, as well as free shipping. That's code 50LSMARK at Factor75.com for 50% off your first box. And thanks, Factor, for sponsoring this video.
So we're 41 minutes in, and this is all we've got so far. Granted, I did that whole introduction sequence. That's why I will not be short.
The sponsor for this episode, damn.
Like I said, I am tired, so if I get to the point where I have to tap out and just go, you know what, I'll do the live build tomorrow. But that's fine, because tomorrow I'm not working, so I can have the freedom to kind of do a little bit. I have things to do, but
another mainstay,
freedom to stream will be there.
So far, this old industrialist lady who puts on a kind
it
of
will most likely be a gaming live tomorrow if I get this done
It takes us
tonight.
through a fairly typical story of someone getting so obsessed over material things that they start to ignore all their friends. But the mom stuff really makes it more interesting. Her needing to get the last tin of anchovies Fry has to continue producing her oil products. It all comes together in a fun way. I loved Fry's
You got a
constant
record
willingness
at
to just give
school.
away his bank PIN number.
A
And
record
Pamela
for
Anderson's
what?
cameo was unexpected. Gonna be dropping this under the Zap episode.
Toodaloo! Dumbass. What a nice lady.
I
Alright,
like
we're
that they
getting into some of the
specifically chose to
detail
color
parts of
Leela's
this.
tank top lime green throughout the first couple minutes of the episode, just to set up this random ass joke that was bugging the hell out of me until then.
You don't even have a sense of taste.
I do love this printed tile, by the
I
way.
wouldn't talk about taste if I was wearing a lime green tank top.
The crew find out that Bender has a passion for cooking. Just sucks that he's not very good at it. This ends up veering away from being the focal point, however, as their new task takes them to a desert planet where Fry accidentally drinks the Emperor, officially making him the new one.
I thought you were going to say, like, record is causing a troublemaker or something. That's where we're at.
I couldn't help but notice them reusing the whole white people drive like this joke from The Simpsons. And it's just as funny as it was there. I mean, he's right. We're so lame. But really, my favorite thing about it was the surprisingly emotional landing, where the only thing that can make Fry cry was thinking Leela had died trying to save him. While it's a little slow and I wish they got into it sooner instead of focusing on all the Bender cooking stuff, there's enough laughs here to have made up for it. Going over
Alright,
the
we'll build
last.
up this a little bit. This is just the back. This piece here is to hide some of the technical
Oh wow, an
inner
episode that
workings.
actually focuses on the
Which,
professor.
for a set from
Surprised
2006, this does really well.
I like his little cowboy hat. After humiliating himself at his annual scientist award show, Farnsworth uses his smelloscope and finds out that the city is about to be destroyed by a giant ball of garbage. Now it's up to Fry, Leela, and Bender to try and destroy it so the professor can redeem himself. Honestly, like last time, I think it takes a
So
little
you
while to get to
see
the point.
Technic
But once
Functions
they get to the
box
planet,
in
it really
there.
picks up for the last
This
couple
piece
minutes
clips
and gets
in,
genuinely
and it's
kind
just
of
designed to
intense.
hide all
This
that.
is definitely the high-stakes concept they've attempted so far, and so I'm looking to see them tackle more like this. The ending made me laugh a lot too, them just pushing the problem
So go
off for
put the
another
feet on
100 years. Going right under the middle of the list.
Eat my shorts.
Okay. Shorts.
So Bender gets peer pressured into doing whatever the robot equivalent of to epic drugs is, leading to him reaching rock bottom and being reformed as a born again. Whatever the robot equivalent of a Christian is. A lot of the humor from this one is derived from finding Bender attempting to be kind and religious funny, along with many robot puns, which I didn't find myself being the biggest fan of. But the eventual reveal of the robot devil really did steal the show once he popped up, along with their depiction of hell being really cool.
Hey, well, Ham, so once you've built the kind of mate, this in the cockpit are the most time-consuming part to build the wings are the quickest.
And Homer Sampson does a great job at voicing him. The song was pretty catchy too, all things considered. For a finale, it's rather fitting. And I find the second half more than makes up for that middling opening, going around the middle of the list.
How are you doing, Will Ham?
Wait, okay, no, never mind. Just stay here. I guess this is just a regular issue with these goddamn ranking videos, but just like American Dad, Hulu lists the episodes incorrectly. They claim season 1 only has 9 episodes, when in reality, it's 13. So let's keep it going, I guess. I'd trust Wikipedia any day. Only 10 episodes in and the crew are already quitting. You know what, I can't blame them. But thankfully, to keep them around, the professor is offering them a company vacation to the Titanic, where nothing can go wrong. Wasn't expecting them to bring back Zapp Brannigan so soon, but hey, I'm for it. He makes any episode better. Leela attempting to get off his radar by claiming to be engaged to Fry. I really love Fry and Leela's dynamic here. Her being forced to be close to him when she completely revels in knowing she can't do anything about it. Before Amy does the exact same thing with her to try and get her parents off her back.
I'm going to pause this and explain the PS3 thing.
Makes Leela jealous.
There's an update. So, a couple of days ago, I think it was, Monday? I think it was Monday I handed it in, right? And they said, we'll ship you out another one. Now, my PS3 was one of the rare ones that could play PS2 games, because not all of them could do that. And they went, you'll get an email saying it's being shipped out to you, your replacement. Got an email a couple hours ago, right? An email going, the value I paid for the PS3 back in October is going to be refunded back to my bank account. In other words, I'm not getting another PS3 back from them. I'm getting the money. So what I'm going to do with the money, I'm not going to buy another PS3 that can play PS2 games, because it's 200 quid they're going to put back in my bank. So what I'm going to do is, I'll buy a PS3 and a PS2. Because PS2 and 3 could do the PS1 games. So that's sorted. And I just half the price on both consoles. So that's just what I'm going to do. So, yeah, that's the plan.
They're definitely trying to push these two together, but I'm unaware if anything actually comes of it, so I guess
I don't get 10p per comment. It's more the likes and views. You could leave 100 comments and I don't actually get paid for that.
Here, but I'm pretty sure that actually becomes an ongoing plot point later in the series. I can't believe I know that, but not what happens with our main two characters. This honestly might be my favorite episode so far. Along with the interesting plot, there's also a ton of great gags, like with Hermie's wife and Bender's little Jack and Rose B story. It really is an amazing episode that delivers on the character drama and action. Hoping for more like this as we go on. This one has a very similar setup to the Anchovies episode, with Farnsworth taking the gang to Mars University, where he finds out his status as a college dropout is the equivalent of a high school dropout in the year 3000. Re-enrolling as Bender tries to help his old fraternity get their probation lifted. You know, I feel to mention it, but it really is interesting hearing John DiMaggio's take on Bender this early on. It's so much more subdued compared to what I'm used to hearing in clips and such. The episode starts to pick up a lot after our introduction to Fry's roommate Gunther, a monkey with a hat that allows him to speak English.
I can have two moderators.
Constantly tries to one-up Fry, which, to be fair, was funny for like a little while, I guess, but it got old. The best part usually came down to Fry's reaction. We're not really used to seeing him this antagonistic. I really love
it took a while to find that.
Gunther buckling under all the pressure that comes with being forced to go against his instincts and act like a human. Nowhere near the best of the season, but there's a lot to like here. It's a pretty decent homage to Animal House, going above the garbage one.
Right, so that's the main bit we just had to build that connects the wings and cockpit. That's like the main body of it, so that's complete.
Again,
let's build a wing.
This time the Planet Express crew has been drafted to
take this is the part of the build that is reasonably
quick.
Fry
accidentally ruined the Fox broadcast of their favorite show, which has taken 1,000 years to reach their planet. The invasion looks cool, and I like the twist with the person they were after the whole time just being the actors from the sitcom they liked watching, resulting in them having to try and create a fake ending to satisfy them. But honestly, aside from the Omicromians who steal the show with their super direct way of speaking and literal way of interpreting
It looks like a
things,
red
that
minion.
super on-the-nose but funny commentary at the end about audiences only wanting to watch stuff that's safe and unchallenging, it's probably going to go down for me as one of the
I'm
least
considering
memorable season one.
trialing
There's
it as a
too
mod,
much
but
here
I'm
for a
not
more
going to
middling
promise
episode
it.
like this to stand out. Not bad, not great. Alright,
Tell you
here
what,
we go.
why don't we
Real
see how
season
this
finale.
stream goes and go
For
from there?
real this time. In every cartoon
What
ever's
looks like a
mandatory
red
Willy
minion?
Wonka and the Chocolate
This.
Factory parody, the crew find this bottle cap that allows them to visit the elusive Slurm Factory
Kinda, maybe.
and party with Slurms Mackenzie. That guy rocks. Like I said, pretty average Chocolate Factory parody, but it's mainly elevated by the great jokes, and gets really good after Fry, Leela, and Bender figure out what the secret ingredient is, being this giant, disgusting Slurm Queen. Okay, I don't know why this came to mind, but, like, do you think there's anyone out there who's like, damn, the Slurm Queen, yeah, that's for me, you know? I mean, there's gotta be someone, right? If it's you, go to the Wait, actually don't, I don't want to know. Either way, this is
Oh, if you don't know it
season.
yet.
Oh god, I looked it up, I regret it, I move on. And that's season 1 of Futurama.
Oh,
And
it's at
damn,
the
what a
10
strong
like
start
mark.
to a
Oh, it's
show.
popped up for
Not
me that
every
we're at 10.
episode here is a winner, but like I said with the pilot, the overall package here does a fantastic job at easing you into this world, as well as managing to stand apart from The Simpsons. Again, a show this undoubtedly was going to be compared to a bunch. But hey, it seemed to work out as it got really glowing reviews, as well as strong ratings. My lowest rated episode here is Fear of a Bot Planet, and that's really because the concept didn't really offer anything new to me. While A Flight to Remember, I think, is amazing.
Oh, alright.
Using the
Alright,
entire
you'd only
cast to
ordered it.
create this genuinely intense finale, while having the core of it still be Fry and Leela's relationship, something I really want them to focus more on as we go on. I'm also hoping to see them try and use more of the secondary cast, like Hermes, Dr. Zoidberg, and even Amy, none of which get that much focus here. But honestly, I like that this first batch of episodes keeps the focus small, centered around Fry, Leela, and Bender.
So
showing
yeah,
us
we're
why
building, I
they
think
work
this is one of the
together instead
bottom
of
ones.
overloading the episodes with fucking billion characters, you know? Either way, I'm eager to see where they go from here. Let's continue. Season 2 opens showcasing Bender getting increasingly more jealous of the attention Nibbler has been getting, and so naturally flushes him down the toilet.
I'll show you in a
Fairly
second,
generic
Wilhelm.
jealousy story, but
So
they
the
do their
build
usual
is
sci-fi
this
spin on
set
it, which
here.
allows it to pick up a lot. I've noticed that
The
same formula with most of
2006
these episodes.
X-Wing.
Start with a basic sitcom plot, then push it to the extreme with a sci-fi twist. This time the professor adds an empathy chip into his brain that can be tuned to match a specific person. Bender feeling so bad that he flushes himself down the toilet to go and find him. You know, something I've picked up on just from watching this small batch of episodes is
It's
how
a
much this
brilliant
world's
set.
been
I've got a
figured out
lot of
ahead
nostalgia
time.
for this
It
one.
never feels like any element of this place
I've had
was
it
just
sitting
come up
around
on the
for
spot the
over
sake
a
of
month, so I'm
conflict.
happy to finally
They end
get
up finding a
stuck into this
civilization
build.
of mutants in the sewer, which I'm
But it's been
99%
trying
sure
to
they
find the
alluded to
time to
back in season
actually sit
1.
and build this
Either
has
way,
been
the
difficult.
continuity seems super strong. It's great. The
Some
jump
other
between
things I
seasons
do.
hasn't really changed much, honestly. It's more of the same, which is good because
Oh, the 2019 Christmas
show's good.
X-Wing. I don't know if I'd buy one of those, to be honest with you.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Oh, so that's where that comes from. Zep Brannigan gets dishonorably discharged after fucking up the Dupe headquarters during their opening, which leads to him joining the Planet Express crew
He's
for
building up
some
the kind of
reason, I
base
don't
of
know,
the wing.
money. I love that even though he's appeared a million times so far, they always have to introduce him as the guy Leela slept with just to rub it in, as well as his sheer hatred towards the neutrals throughout the episode.
I've heard
Come
they're
on,
quite
they have no strong
expensive
feelings one way
sealed.
or the other. We've seen so much of Zap and Leela that it's actually kind of refreshing to see him befriend Fry and Bender. They're fun together.
I'd pay the money for a
Drop them
sealed.
as
I would
soon
pay
as
the
he
money
gets
for a
his
used
job
one.
back, along with making everyone revolt against her. But hey, it's a pairing we haven't seen yet. I'm eager to see who else they
One
can put
second.
alongside in the future. Like I said before, the show has felt pretty self-contained character-wise so far, but if this episode says anything, it's that there's a lot of potential in mixing and matching these guys. Hope to see more.
What?
Check.
What are you saying?
Get him, boys!
Alright, now we have the Bender Gets Rich episode, after selling his entire body due to the rising cost of titanium.
Tell you what, I'll give you $50 for the kid.
Hey, my clothes are worth $50.
Deal.
After a series of headless Bender hijinks, it diverts into something more political, although it is integrated in a clever way, focusing on politics in the opening and eventually bringing in the Head Museum as Richard Nixon's head buys Bender's body to attempt to become the next president. The Twilight Zone parody made for a humorous opener, but that's about where it starts and ends for me. Some fun jokes that made me laugh, but I'm just not into American politics all that much, so all the Nixon jokes don't really do anything for me. Although with him winning the election by the end, I guess we'll be seeing more of him in the future.
You'll never have a soul. And freckles.
You know, it's bizarre to me that we've hardly seen them attempt to create any of their own future celebrities, instead of relying on all these figures from our time. I definitely prefer when they do that over this, but I do understand the gag that nobody has moved on from all these celebrities from the past, like nothing in regards to celebrity worship has ever changed. I suppose to me it's that the floating head aspect doesn't do a whole lot to make these pop culture cameos stand apart from any other show at the time. Not bad, but certainly not an aspect of this world I love. Either way, we got our first Christmas special. Xmas special, where we find out that Santa is actually this evil robot murderer, forcing everyone to stay inside over Xmas Eve. On its own, it's an alright idea, and John Goodman does a good performance as him, but I love how they use this as a way to create some conflict towards Fry's objective. It really ups the stakes knowing how dangerous and overpowered Santa is. Him and Leela have both been wallowing in their own sorrows. Fry for spending his first Christmas alone, and Leela for spending every Xmas alone. Him deciding to risk his life to try and get a gift that'll cheer her up. It manages to be a very sweet Xmas special despite all the cynicism. This is one of my favorites of the whole show, although I am wondering how long they're going to keep up this will they won't they shtick for.
Look, the food isn't what's important.
I'm so hungry.
Oh yeah, Zoidberg. Kind of forgot about him. He's consistently been the character to get the least amount of focus, mainly being used for the occasional gag here and there. None of which I find to be particularly funny, but hey, maybe this will turn me around on him. It's here we find out that it's mating season for his species, the crew needing to take him to his home planet for the orgy of a lifetime and stuff.
Is that how you say Zoidberg?
You didn't have to call attention to his speech impediment.
It was pretty smart of them to make the first episode focusing on him explore more of his home life, showcasing how undesirable he is to his own species, with Fry becoming his wingman, which completely backfires as the crustacean of his dreams ends up falling in love with him instead. Again, it's a fairly predictable story. You've seen this conflict play out a million times, especially that misunderstanding shit, but it works, so who cares? All the gags about his weird alien species also help it stand apart. I'm mostly glad this one proved there's merit in having episodes about these seemingly more one-note members of the cast. Going around the middle.
Is today's hectic
Right, I'm
lifestyle
back.
making you tense and impatient?
Shut up and get to the point!
I appreciated the jokes about
What?
these fucking things after living in California. I had to decipher enough of them. Fry starts to get jealous after Bender befriends a robot
Sorry, I
who
had to
looks
go there.
exactly
I'm
like
back.
him.
Ah.
Made
Oh,
even
it's
worse once he
continue that
joins them on
way.
a mission where he has the opportunity to
I
steal
may have
the
to leave
delivery that
occasionally.
caused Planet Express to go bankrupt. I love this dynamic where everyone just immediately ranks him above Fry and trusts him over their good
See, I am
friends.
back.
This concept
Wilhelm
of
can
an
tell
evil
the
Bender
future.
works
Right.
great. An eviler Bender,
Let's
I guess.
go.
Although, with the not-so-shocking twist that it was actually their Bender who stole the atom, I suppose Flexo was actually a pretty nice guy all along. Damn, I'm gonna be dropping this one above the last. Predictable, but still good. Huh. So that's where that comes from.
Don't know what's on in the background, right?
Damn,
It's
more
a
holiday
video.
specials.
Yeah,
This
I've
time
got that
it's
as well, man.
Valentine's Day.
There's a video on in the
Surprisingly, instead of
background.
focusing on Fry and Leela like you would expect,
The guy
they try to
ranking
see
all
what
the
mileage
episodes of
they can get out of
Futurama.
a Fry and Annie pairing. They actually work off each other really well. This show has been so hyper-focused on only doing the will they, won't they thing with Leela that I never even considered the possibility of him being with anyone else. Honestly, his relationship with Amy feels so much more organic than him and Leela. Kinda wish they didn't dismantle it so abruptly, even if it was comical.
Don't you get it? She's smothering me. Hey, you see? You see?
This is all for the purpose of creating some conflict after a crash results in him having his head attached to hers. The two then
I
attempting
think
to
that's
see
the
other
one
people.
complete.
It actually made me kind of glad to see them
No,
go
go
back
do
to
the
Fry and
engine.
Leela by
Selling
the
it.
end. The climax to this one is super sweet as she comes in and saves him from having
But no,
to experience
Futurama's one of my
immediate
favourite
deep
episodes.
fucking. Makes
Or
me
not,
hope
it's
for more of these
favourite
relationship
series.
drama episodes in the future.
Look at me, I'm
This is
being
one of the
confused.
best.
Bender, honey, we love you.
Shut up, baby, I know it.
That
caught me off guard
is
way
funny.
harder than it probably should have. Bender gets hired to become the newest member of the Ultimate Robot Fighting League, Leela becoming his trainer. I never really enjoyed the character becomes
same
a professional
format,
wrestler episode of a TV show. It's more common than you think. But I feel like they all just go in the same couple directions. Like, of course, Bender gets fame hungry and abandons the people who helped him get to where he is, until his morals are put to the test when he's asked to throw a fight. It's far from bad, and there's a lot of funny moments in here, but in a season as good as this, it definitely goes down as one of the weakest.
I've noticed a lot
I
of my
find the way they
viewers,
tied it
right,
back to
who
Lula's
comment,
childhood pretty underwhelming
like
as
myself,
well.
are on the
The
autism
best
and
aspect,
ADHD
though, has to be
spectrum.
that
It's one of those
Hermes
things I
just
do
has
find
this
is
mind-controlling
insane
parasite
how
throughout
that
the
works.
entire episode that nobody does anything about. I think that's the most
Can't
they've
have
done with him
drop-in
in this whole
pieces.
series so far.
Going well.
Thank God I'm free of that nightmare. Sorry, buddy. Here you go.
I love their depiction of the internet here, even if it is so horribly dated. I guess that's the sort of thing that sticks out when you make a show that's supposed to take place in the distant future. But there's such a certain charm to it. God, imagine if the show came out today, the future would be completely white and minimalist. Anyways, while online, Leela meets another Cyclops who wants her to come to his planet. Which looks great, by the way. The backgrounds are so fleshed out, and I love the colors, especially those clouds.
Let's get it on there.
And I
So this
would
one
say it's
is
cool to be
literally the
learning more
gears
about
and
Eras's
rubber band
backstory,
technology.
If it weren't so
This
obviously
is
a
where we're
trick
at.
to get her to be with him, immediately turning into a jerk the second she sleeps with him in this big old Married with Children homage. They even designed Leela to look like her voice actress' character in that show.
How far away do you think it is? A trillion miles?
Him being a shapeshifter was a fun
No,
twist,
trillion
but
miles?
that's about it. Not a fan of this one, unfortunately. Drags on a bit, especially in the middle.
Yes, oh, and we're an hour into the stream. So they would have to
Okay,
build it
thank God
fast.
we're
You
getting
can
this
just
out
be
of
a
the way
relaxed,
early.
chilled
And
out
seeing
stream.
screenshots and clips from the show, I always wondered what the hell this little chubby Fry clone was. Turns out, he's a clone. It's Professor Farnsworth's 150th birthday, which makes him feel insecure about his age. And so to combat this, he creates a clone of himself to inherit his legacy, Hubert. He's basically just Gunther, except he gets on the nerve of the whole crew, being this snot-nosed brat who thinks they're all losers. I feel like I typically find this kind of episode annoying, but as a matter of fact, I enjoyed it a lot, especially their depiction of death. But I'm mostly surprised they kept Hubert around by the end. I guess killing a kid might be a tad too far. I could see a lot of people hating this character, but I surprisingly ended up liking this
I
episode a
think
lot.
Amelia
Maybe it's
Dunn
because
was
they're
in some of the
constantly
early
shitting
ones,
on him.
actually.
And that old
One of the more
retirement
frequent
factory was a
commenters.
great ending set piece. Going around the middle. Was not expecting them to bring back Leela's old co-workers from the pilot. Damn.
It's too late. The inspector will be here in exactly 1 second. Who the hell are you?
So this is the
Finally,
other
a
wing
Hermes
for the
episode
bottom.
took a
Also, we're
long
doing
half.
4 wings. I'm going
He's
to make
forced
the
to leave.
assumption that the cockpit is what you
Damn,
build
now
last.
there's a
That
new
whole long
bureaucrat
nose
to
bit
manage them all
section.
who falls in love with Fry, just like the Zoidberg episode, noticing a pattern. After Bender catches
been alright
Zodiac,
for the most
she
part.
steals his memory
Like,
and
no
hides it
one
in a
is
government
commenting
building.
insane
Now it's up
things.
to them to get
Like,
it back.
I'm all up for a
You know,
joke,
for being the
but
first episode to revolve around Hermes,
the one
it
thing
sure
I
does
ask
feel
people to remember
revolving
is
around
whatever you
Hermes.
comment will be
Not
there
that
when I
makes it
upload
bad
that as
or
a video.
anything, more so that I was actually looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with this character that's done next to nothing throughout the past season and a half. Even if he does save the day by the end, it felt as if there could have been more. Fairly average episode by Season 2 standards, going near the bottom of the list.
Let's see if I get the other wing on the go. I should be able to get this one a bit
Do
quicker.
a flip.
So that...
Do a flip!
Damn, what's with all these episodes about Fry kicking ass at getting the ladies? This time he falls in love with a mermaid from the lost city of Atlantis, which, if the title couldn't make any more clear, is basically the South.
Hey, Bender! I just caught a fish.
Oh yeah,
This
what's Sally
big.
building?
Quit exaggerating, Fry.
I don't know, I think this episode kind of sucks. The idea of Fry falling in love with a mermaid just kind of borders on being too stupid for me, like, no shit, it's not gonna work out. And nothing done with the plot is all that creative. And the underwater setting, while visually neat, just doesn't do enough to make it stand out to me. I mean, sure, it's got good jokes, but so does every episode. Bottom of the list. Surprised to see the return to that plot point of Bender having a fondness for cooking, although it's once again sidelined halfway through as he winds up joining the robot mafia.
Picking his nose. Get him.
Damn, unfortunately I'm not
Well,
big on
gotta
this
love
one either.
Futurama.
Leela's blind B story wasn't the strongest,
Go
and the
up.
only mafia bot I liked was the guy who kept going on about the clamps. Another weak
Thanks
one,
for joining
sadly.
in with Wilhelm, always appreciated.
I was just about to say it was shocking we haven't seen Mom in a while, considering she's one of the show's only antagonists. But she finally returns on Mother's Day, a day where all the robots in the city come together to celebrate and shower her with gifts.
No, you're very welcome.
You know, she
Always
looks like a Bob
appreciated.
Burger character.
Yepsy daisy.
Oh.
Takes a pretty extreme turn early on as she puts all the robots on rebel mode. Is there a difference in saying rebel or rebel? I don't know. I was pretty blown away to see them bring back this random-ass throwaway line from that Farnsworth clone episode, where it was established he used to work at her factory, us finding out that he was her one true love, and leaving her was what made her into the heartless asshole she is today. I'm impressed they actually managed to make you feel
I do
kinda
love
bad
the
for her.
detail. Like, it's basic, but it
Kinda. I
still
enjoyed this one a
works
lot.
really
Not
well.
as many laugh-out-loud moments as the average episode so far, but I think the story more than makes up for it. I only wish we could have seen more of these two interacting aside from the last couple minutes. Hoping they return to this dynamic more in the future. There's a lot of untapped potential here. Solid episode, going around the middle.
Got a little bit more
The gang
stuff to do at
find
the
and
bottom
starts
of the
selling these
swing.
little poplar things
So
that
there's a
people
little bit
can't
that goes down,
resist,
and then I got to
before
do the
finding out they're
engine.
actually Omicronian babies. Damn, all the antagonists are coming back. Now they want reparations for every child that's been eaten, which is pretty much everyone. It's an entertaining take on a story we've seen time and time again. Them deciding to
Someone
let the
called
people live
Captain
if they're at
Rex
least
has
allowed
sent
to
me a
eat
sticker on
Leela.
TikTok.
Them making
There's
this
another
giant spectacle of it
person,
with a
right,
live
who
broadcast
created
in the
their account
stadium.
last year who wanted
The
to
problem
debate
with
my
Poplar is
name
one
with
of the
them. I
best
always
of the
find that
season.
funny.
And don't just
So,
take
like,
my word for it.
I have
Let's
had a
check in on
YouTube
our
channel
good pal
called this
Tyler
for
Kingston and
11
see what he
years.
thinks. I guess he's done this for every fucking show out there. I can't escape this guy. Overall, I give this episode a 10 out of 10, which in my ratings book is freaking redonkulous. Thanks, Tyler. Please comment on one of these videos. I'd like for you to review one of these in the future. Thanks. Oh no! If you know anything about me, it's that I really hate anthology episodes. They're so fucking common in all these cartoons, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why. It's gotta be hard to come up with episode ideas, even if we aren't at 30 yet. But with Futurama, you know what? Doesn't bother me that much from a conceptual level. Depends what they do with it, of course. I don't want to see fucking, I don't know, Jack and the Beanstalk, but with Futurama characters or something. Mark, this is you from the future. I've come to warn you. About what? I forget. Great. So the first segment showcases everything the exact same way, but what if Bender were 500 feet tall? Alright.
So is that, how's
They get as
everyone
much
doing
mileage
today
out of that
anyway?
as they
We all good?
possibly could. I feel like with a series
Everyone
that
in
has
Friday
the potential
mode?
to be as out there as Futurama, it would be best to avoid anthology storylines that would fit just as well if they were regular episodes. You know, you gotta go way out there, but as is, it just feels rather redundant.
So next
Second
time
is a
just
little more interesting
details
as Layla
on the
looks
top
into
of the
a
wing.
reality where she's more
So I wonder
impulsive,
whose
which leads
X-Wing
her
you said to
the entire
off
Flight
as
Express
through the
group,
instruction
but that's
manual
really
version.
it.
That'd be kinda
Nothing
cool.
more is done beyond that initial murder mystery idea, you know, it's okay. They certainly left the best till last. It's actually a cool what-if scenario. That being, what would happen if Fry never got cryogenically frozen and sent to the future, which completely messes up the space-time continuum, finding out that it needed to happen for the sake of the entire universe. Then putting the number 1 in the title implies they already plan on this being a mainstay, and the what-if machine is a solid plot device to continue making it happen, but I'm hoping they go more out there in the future. Fry and Bender enroll in the army so they can get military discounts, but right as they sign, war is declared, sending them off to fight with Leela joining disguised as a boy. This one has an extremely predictable plot as well, and unfortunately,
There
I
we
don't
go,
find it
that's
to
the
have
other
enough memorable
bottom wing
moments or gags
complete.
to make up for it. That Mulan trope where the egotistical ladies' man character thinks they're gay after falling in love with the girl in disguise has been done a million times, and sadly, this one doesn't do a whole lot to stand on. Some of the background design is cool, and I like their war outfits, but that's it. I think I like
It's an
the Mermaid
interesting
episode
little
more than
spaceship right now.
After Bander's uncle dies, they have to spend a Scooby-Doo-esque night in his haunted manor in order to receive it from the will. I appreciate the composer trying to adopt that music style as well.
Right.
It's rather charming. This is almost immediately abandoned as Bander gets hit by a car and turns into, where car? What? You know, for as dumb as that sounds initially, it somehow makes sense once you think about it. They get the atmosphere down really well, and the episode is filled with a ton of creative shots. That transformation sequence was surprisingly well animated and probably plays into somebody's fetish. Again, don't comment if that's you, I'd rather not know. Overall, this is a good episode.
Right, let's
Nowhere near my
continue these
favorite, but
wings.
for as weird of an idea as it is,
Progress is
they make it
being
work.
made. Let's continue it.
Season 2
Much as
adds
I'd
to
like
the
this to be one of
concept
the
I love.
longest streams I've ever done, I
mentioned
also
it at
don't
the
want to
start
be
of the
up
first season,
really
but
late
Season 2
doing
certainly
this.
marked a turn in which the show stopped focusing as much on Fry being a guy from the 20th century who's come to the future. It's mostly just used for the occasional throwaway gag here and there. But when they actually focus on it for a storyline, it winds up creating many of my favorite moments, and this finale is no exception, as Fry finds out that his ex-girlfriend from
Well,
the
that's
start
the
of the
difference
pilot
between
has
these. Let's
also been
see.
cryogenically frozen and sent to the future. We get to learn a little more about what happened to her after Fry left. Also, the depressing fact that nobody gave a shit after he went missing. I appreciate these little bits of lore we get
Alright.
sprinkled in, along with getting to see another
So Wedge
human being
Antilles
who's
has
about to
individual
continue in the
tiles.
future.
Luke tried
like
to
we get a
print, so
small glimpse
instructions
into
make you do it
progression
the Luke
Fry's made over the
Skywalker
course of
way.
the past 2 seasons.
That makes
No
sense to
longer
me.
batting an eye at all this crazy future stuff while she's completely freaked out, wanting her and Fry to go a further 1,000 years into the future together. She's a complete asshole and ruins everything for him by never being satisfied. I think that's the only thing holding it back, how one-note she is. But for the purpose of reaching a conclusion that gets rid of her, I still think this is a great finale that reestablishes Fry being better off in the future than the present. I mean, better off in the present than the past. This sucks. Season 2 of Futurama
Alright,
was
so
even
these
better
top
than
ones have a
the first.
completely different
Simply
design,
by
at least
proxy of there
structurally.
being more
From the
episodes
wings that go on
means
the
some of
bottom,
those
this is
run
where we're
diagonally
at so
near
far
the
of the
bottom of the
build.
list. But even still, I think there's something to like about every one of these. Again, I hear Futurama for the most part is consistently good, so I'm curious what episodes fans consider bad. Where's the H word is at the bottom of the list just for not having anything all that memorable about it, story or joke-wise. Well, put your head on my shoulders at the top. Me and Leaf are doing something different with a romantic pairing that's not just Fry and Leela again, while still managing to show why they're good for each other by the end. I wonder if the show will ever try to adopt more
So how's
serialized
everyone's
elements, maybe
Friday
Fry and
going
Leela
anyway?
will get together at some point. And we can see how that works for longer than just a 22-minute period. Either way, a few episodes into airing this season, Fox made a pretty big decision. That was to move the time slot away from airing after The Simpsons, which ended up having serious ramifications on its ratings. Pretty much being cut in half, which, if you couldn't tell, is bad. I'm not sure why this decision was made, but I can already see this probably resulted in the show getting cancelled so soon. But we still have another 2 seasons to go until then. Curious to see what season 3 will bring. I've heard a few times now that season 3 is some of Futurama's best.
I'll
so I got
show you in
pretty
a
high
second. So I'm
expectations going into
building this set
This opening
here.
chooses to expand more on Kefval characters.
The
Kev being unable to express
2006
his feelings
X-Wing
towards Amy.
fighter.
I know I said I liked her and Fry a lot, but Kev, despite not doing much notable so far throughout the show, managed to win me over here. I like him a lot, especially next to Zap. Things don't stay pleasant for too long as their restaurant crash lands on a planet entirely inhabited by
Building the
caveman
wings, this is what we've
I
got built
recognize
so
their
far.
species design from a previous episode. Again, they really had a lot of this figured out. It's neat to see expanded upon. I guess the boy-girl stereotype is aged pretty poorly. The boys love sex and disrespecting women while all they care about are superficial stuff like their wit. And I guess all the is a tad unsettling. You know, it really is crazy what they've been able to get away with so far. But I think it's funny enough to turn a blind eye to. In fact, I think this is one of the funniest episodes yet. There's so many hilarious moments throughout.
Take them to the snoo chambers!
This was a way better opener than season 2's. Hoping it's a sign of things to come. So everyone shrinking is good enough for a normal episode, but getting bigger needs to be seen for the anthology? I don't get it. Not even taking place in the future can save the show from the mandatory cast needs to go inside one of the main characters' body stories that every cartoon to ever exist has done. Although here it's tied back to Fry's way more outwardly expressed feelings towards Leela, him being unaware of this whole mission as he goes on what he thinks is a date with her. They're just so pleasant together, I like them a lot. It's visually fantastic too, no wonder the board artist won an Emmy for it. I'm shocked they actually made me enjoy one of these tired, fantastic Voyage episodes. Mainly because they abandoned that halfway
what time are we
through,
actually on?
Fry and Leela's
Why don't you want to
relationship,
call that? It's
her
only
preferring what he's
16
become
minutes
with
past
parasitic
9.
worms.
My goal
It
is to
sucks,
be
though,
done
she
this build
finally
by half past
reciprocates his
10.
love, but he'll never know if she loves him for him, or what the worms made him. Not a sentence I ever expected to say. While the previous is funnier, I prefer this one for the character drama. The ending's really heartwarming too. Season 3 has hit the ground running. Another Xmas episode so soon. Dude, it is so annoying following along on Hulu. They list this shit in season 4. Doesn't it take more effort to rearrange them all stupid like this? Maybe it's the airing order they're going by. Things were pretty muddied throughout these seasons. This one in particular getting delayed a full year due to scheduling conflicts. John Goodman, doesn't reprise his role as Santa, as Bander takes over, attempting to deliver all the world's presents in one night, which goes about as well as you'd expect. Seeing the dark and depressing depiction of the North Pole was neat, and the song was catchy, but that's about it. You forget it's even an Xmas special after all the courtroom stuff comes in as Bander gets framed for Santa's rampages. Some good jokes, but definitely not as strong as the previous Xmas special.
Commentary comes and goes. It's me paying attention to that and the building. It's like a cross distraction kind of thing.
What the fuck? I wasn't expecting to get hit in the feels so soon. This is the sort of story I've been waiting for. Us finally getting a deeper look into Fry's life in the 20th century, particularly the rocky relationship between he and his brother. He remembers a 7-leaf clover that he used to have that gave him good luck. And so now he's got to
Alright,
go
we're
get it
nearly
back
done
from
this
his old
wing. It's
hearts.
to do its
This
engine.
method of switching between the past and present, the future and, I mean the present and future, you feel like would hurt the pacing, but all it ends up doing is excellently building up to that eventual reveal of the clover being missing, him finding out that his brother not only stole it, but assumed his entire life after he was gone. Now he's got to rob his grave to get it back. I love that we get to see his parents' actual reaction to his disappearance, showing that they did indeed miss him, unlike what his ex-girlfriend says. Made even more emotional when we get to the incredibly sad ending, where Fry finds out this isn't his brother, it's his nephew. His brother named his son after Fry out of nothing but love and admiration for his little brother. It makes me kind of grateful that they really do ones focusing on his past now. It makes it hit harder when they do. I feel like I ended up just describing the episode beat by beat, but really anything I can say about it is best explained by just watching it. No, really, go watch it. It's the best episode so far, second to none. Honestly, probably one of the best episodes of any adult cartoon. So go on, watch it. Video will still be here when you get back. Take your time. Why not make a sandwich? Comment what kind of sandwich you mean.
But yeah, this is a cool set to get back on the shelf. In the last couple of years, I've went around trying to buy all the ones I've got the most nostalgia for, like the ones I remember having as a kid. This is one of those main ones.
Help the penguins living there. This
It was that's one of the top wings. It's got a lot more kind of intricate construction than the ones that go on the bottom.
Being a
Let's
constant
get
power-hungry
into the
asshole
build.
to Fry and then immediately wallowing in misery once he's had enough and quits before having to come back to rescue him over a situation that he himself caused. That's not
So all the
expected
wings
from
are
the
like
show,
that
but
just
I don't
now.
know, despite us
They'd
turning
open
around
up
by the
that way.
end, this time it just
You
didn't
turn
work
those
for
little
me.
gear
Aside from a couple fun moments from Zoidberg, I thought this episode sucked.
like
Bender
so.
acting like a penguin isn't that hilarious of a concept to me. By the way, how was the sandwich? Comment how you're saying.
Let's rock.
Bender's been sleep bending, which leads to him getting fired and getting a new job at a steel factory during a strike. It's here we're reintroduced to Flexo. Didn't expect his return so soon. Just as chill as ever, apparently. Conflict arises, however, as he fears that Flexo's been trying to steal the affection of his girlfriend.
Right,
Wasn't
okay,
nice seeing
so let's get the
Bender actually
next
show
song. I think
genuine
it's one
affection
more
for
wing in the
someone for
cockpit to go.
short-lived as
There's
it
not a
is.
whole lot of
Wasn't
this
as
left.
into the mafia stuff being brought
And this
back
stream will
into it,
kind
even
of
if it
end
was
out
set
at
up
2 hours
well.
long, which
Other
you know
than that,
what?
not much to
I'm
say.
happy
It's a
with.
decent episode. Favorite part might be just how
And I
far he
wasn't
was willing to try and
too
catch her in
concerned
the
with
act.
how
She
long
was
the
nothing but
stream
nice the whole
goes.
time.
As long as I
Okay,
don't
scratch
fall
that.
asleep
This is
while
my
streaming.
favorite part.
That's
What the
not
fuck is
happening
going
yet.
on there? Endless Love is going around the mid. What? That's the
Put
pickaxe
this to
from
the side. This actually
Fortnite.
contains a set of rubber bands. All glory
That's
to the
where that comes
Hypnotoad.
from. No, really, that thing used to appear in the ads to my Simpsons movie DVD as a kid. I had no idea what the fuck it was. A group of evil space brains zap away everyone's, all except Fry for some reason. But there's no time to worry about that, as Nibbler reveals he actually has some level of intelligence by helping Leela escape to his home planet. You know, I'm just not realizing Nibbler is played by Frank Welker. He's just doing his Curious George voice. I'll never be able to unhear that now. Cool getting to see more of his race, even if I'm not typically a fan of the trope of the stupid little animal character actually being
No.
ultra badass and cool. Again, all this
That's
stuff I'm
not
usually
that
not into
tile.
surprisingly
There it
works
is.
in a show like this. The
So
future
I'll probably
setting
just
really
leave
is
mine
the perfect
as the
scapegoat
Luke
for any
Skywalker
plot they
X-Wing.
want to do.
If you're just
Same
joining,
going
we're
into all
building
the
an X-Wing.
classic books is a neat end too.
You do get the
I'm
titles
gonna
when I
drop
make the
this under
eventual
Amazonian
review that
one.
goes up
I
on
like
here.
this drawing of Fry.
This is a set for anyone just joining. When I make that eventual review, I'll have to take it off and show the
It's
two
interesting
differences.
how
I'm
much
going to put
attention
the
they
bits
give
in a
him
little
over
bag
Hermes
just so I
and
know where
Amy,
they
but
are.
hey, I'm 4, he's grown on me. Unfortunately, this might be the worst episode of the show so far. It sucks. As his famous comedian Uncle Zoid requests he come to Hollywood to fund his struggling film career. Since they make it evident from the very beginning that his uncle is only using him for money, you're just waiting for the moment in which Zoidberg finally finds out what we've known from the start. Which, he never does. We're meant to feel sympathy for the uncle by the end. This episode fucking sucks. There's just nothing to latch onto. I don't give a shit about anything going on here, so throughout 95% of the runtime, I'm just waiting for it to be over. I really hope this character never returns.
Really all on these. Like I said, these ones are built a little bit. There we go. These ones are built a little bit
With
different.
one of her old bullies offering to give her a surgery that fixes the whole one eye thing.
I'm sure Leela's
But you
tired
know what?
of
I
morons
think doing the
gaping at her
shorts
eye all the
has
time.
improved the stream. Granted, not everyone's hung around, but
Although
the
maybe
stream's
it's just for
definitely
takes
going to have
I'm used to
more
how she
views
looked before, or
and
maybe
comments
it's
and
from how
stuff than
tilted
the
upward
previous one,
Sailor,
so it
but
was worth doing.
she looked weirder with two eyes.
So
My
I'm going
vote
to
on
continue
that,
making
Bander's
shorts,
adoption story is where I find
advertising
most
streams,
enjoyment
talking about what
from.
we're doing
Him
in
genuinely
streams, and
growing
just all that
attached
kind
to
of
them. It's
stuff.
oddly sweet.
It seems
Like a
to do
better
well
version of
enough
the
to get
penguin one.
attention
I
to
like
people,
this
so
episode a
I'm more than
bunch.
happy to
And they
continue
tap
doing
back
that.
to
You
Lego
know,
stuff well at the
whatever
end.
grows
Tom
the
Kenny
YouTube
does a
channel.
great performance as her douchebag boyfriend. Going near the top of the list.
So let's be honest, that's in charge here, not me.
It's finally time for Gift to meet Amy's parents in their ranch on Mars. Even though I'm pretty sure they were the ones to introduce her to him on that Titanic episode. But I'm unfortunately not that into this one either. I find her parents really annoying, which is clearly on purpose, but it doesn't make me like them anymore. And I find the wimpy character tries to impress their partner's parents so predictably boring. I think the last time I tried watching through Futurama, I picked this episode at random and was so unimpressed that I quit then and there. Kif and Amy still work well together, the scenes of them talking are probably the best thing about it. But other than that, I think this one is fairly weak. Not even Zap can see of it, going on to the Christmas episode. X-Men. So Bander and Fry get blamed for a bank robbery, which leads to them pleading insanity and getting sent to a robot insane asylum. Dude, I feel so bad for Fry throughout this episode. He's unjustly tortured for half the runtime. Usually, I could see the humor and how uncomfortable all this is, but it doesn't really stop it from being, well, uncomfortable.
You kind of get the idea how this
Fry's
works. He's
slow
playing
descent
one of
into
those little kind of
insanity is
ball
just
points.
like too straight. Transition to him actually believing himself to be a robot happens so fast that it's mainly just jarring. I didn't like this one at all. One of my least favorite of season 3 so far.
I don't know what the background noise is. It's a guy ranking all the
This
episodes of
episode contains
Futurama,
the
because
biggest
that's
lore
just
reveal
what
of
my
all.
YouTube suggestions are.
Hermes has a son. That was unexpected, genuinely. The boys start their own business that does well enough for them to buy the Planet Express. Fry, Leela, and Bender becoming their employees. This is another that I'm not all that into. It's so soon after they take over that we find out it was all a scam and they need to team up with their dads to fix things. In the most anticlimactic way possible. Hoping we don't have many more starring these two, they're not that interesting or funny. But hey, who could forget the memorable Sick. But hey, who could forget the memorable Bender pregnancy?
Hey there, how's it going?
The joke is, it's beer.
Right, that's looking good. Got a couple more bits in the engine, and then that'll go in there. We'll probably do the bits with the rubber bands and go from there. Yeah, I'm great. Having some fun, doing some building, nice.
I didn't really care for
Nice
this
one.
one either. The B story with the crew following their
I think
floor
I'll
and
have to
having
make
nothing
that
but bad luck
X-Wing
has no
the
real depth
thumbnail
to it
for this.
whatsoever, and isn't funny enough to make up for it. You know, I still wouldn't say any episode has been bad so far, which is seriously impressive nearly 50 into this. Well, okay, maybe that Zoidberg one. But the worst so far to me have consistently been the ones that feel like they're doing a story any other show could do without a substantially different take on it given the future setting. His followers just being robots doesn't do much for me. He also infuriatingly chooses to not explain himself at the end, even though he was pretty much valid up until the night before the big show. Going near the bottom, pretty mediocre. Last song was good. Season 3 thankfully picks up once again with a hilariously dumb reverse on Space
See,
Jam.
if I'm being honest, right, the more modern
Globetrotters come
X-Wings are
down
just
to challenge
awful.
everyone to a basketball match, and so the crew have got to raise a group of mutants to beat them. I wasn't expecting them to take it in such a
Oh,
high
is that the new
concept
battle
scenario,
pack?
given the stupid
See,
ass setup.
I
As
like
time
this
starts
X-Wing a
rapidly
lot, and I
jumping,
think
gotta figure out
this
what's
in
going on.
2012, which I've got on the shelf up there, were some of the last good Lego X-Wings. The modern ones just don't do it
It's
for me.
honestly hard to keep a track of what's going on at times.
I've had this build sitting around for over a month. I've only just got around to building it. And the cool part is it's got one of the rare factory error layers of this completely smooth hair, so that'll be going in the glass cabinet that you can see over there with some other cool and rare minifigures.
45-minute special or something. But what's here is fantastic, and the ending is super sad. This is another key to season 3 really nailing these character dynamics. One of my favorites. Going from such a sweet Fry and Leela story.
Yeah,
to
you get 'em like
a
this
robot
in this
clone
one
of
as well.
Lucy Liu. Sure, why not? They actually got the actress to voice her too, damn. This is a much lower stakes adventure, but still a neat futuristic take on internet piracy, being able to illegally download any celebrity. This one's
Right,
going
a
around
couple
the
more
middle of the list.
bits,
It's
and
a
then the
cool
main
one.
engine.
Little too much Lucy Liu inflation for my liking, though. I can't believe this show was smart enough to predict people dating robots in the future, but didn't have the foresight to consider that Napster would no longer exist. Bull. This episode
Also,
sucks. The gang helping out this new alien family turn around their feeling pizzeria quickly diverts into Leela becoming the first ever woman Blurnsball player for the sake of spectacle. Cool.
Hey, come on!
I win.
Aside from a few amusing visual gags, this is one of the worst so far. The first half just never feels like it has any direction.
There's not a whole-
Suddenly
there's
she
not-
cares about setting a good example for little girls. I just don't give a shit. I think I hate this more than the
Captain
Toy
Rex
one,
and
at least that had
Hondo
more going
Onaka
on,
are my
but
two
This
favorites.
is so
Oh,
boring.
yeah, sure, man, no problem. But
After worrying that
I'm an
the
original
criminal
trilogy
theft,
person.
The gang get captured
For the
as
most part.
Egyptian slaves
Like,
where
most of
Bender
my,
becomes
a big
the
chunk of my
pharaoh.
collection is the
Honestly, I
original
didn't really
trilogy.
care for this one
But
either,
that's
despite
what
the
I,
huge
that's what
setting.
I saw
It's yet
first
another
as a
Bender
kid.
power trip ride.
So that's kind of what
We've
I've
seen so
stuck
many
to.
of these already, even if this is by far the concept pushed to its extreme, having an entire civilization of people worshipping him. But I just didn't find it funny enough to stand out amongst the other episodes in the season. I guess that's the issue when you have one with as much good as this. Again, I have no idea what fans think about half these episodes. Maybe this is considered like a fucking classic or something. I don't know. Sue me. Episode 50, first big milestone. What are they gonna do with
Nice.
it? This doesn't
I'm
really
just getting this
work when the
built
title
up with
gets
the
shown first.
engine time. It's the last time I got
Unless
built one of
you're
these
only listening
engines.
to this, in which
Yay!
Oh,
I'm just
God
joking.
damn
This
it,
is quite an
it's another
enjoyable build of
anthology,
it.
which I just realized right this second. Damn.
Eat it, everyone who's never won a Nobel Prize, and that includes you, Amy.
So many jokes in the show are just characters getting overly upset at a mean comment, and it still gets me every time. Thankfully, I find the
Complete
what
blank.
ifs to be a lot more
So
interesting.
this is back in the day, right, when
First,
the
we
Lego.
got Bender becoming a human. You know, his design is not what I was expecting. I thought this guy was Mexican. Second, sees Fry living
I've
life
got
as if it were more like a video game. Or at least a
my
video game
favorite
from the
Rex
perspective
is
of
still
a writer
that
who's only led
2008
you
one.
through 5 decades ago. Isn't this just the plot of Pixels? And finally, we have Leela finding her true home, which winds up just being a lame Wizard of Oz parody. Can't all be winners, I suppose.
So
Shockingly, I
rubber
actually
bands
like
which
this
go on the
anthology.
back of the
Although
X-Wing.
anything,
So
it
I'm
makes
gonna
me sad that I wasted
apparently
this Bender
break it.
becoming a human ID on a 8-minute segment instead of a full episode. Felt like there was a lot more potential there. But you know, weird, it's almost like picking intriguing topics makes anthologies more entertaining.
right.
Who could have guessed?
The sub. Thank you very much. The goal was we're trying to get to. When I started doing these streams, right, at the end of last year,
Zoidberg being the first case of an alien
we were at
landing on Earth.
2008
No, they've got to
subscribers,
find a
nowhere
wacky way to
nearly
put
at
24 hours to get
2,100.
Fry
Like,
eating his
from doing
grandfather
these
was
streams and from
cool,
uploading
although
the
him
shorts,
accidentally getting
the
him
YouTube
killed
channel
eating
fell
the
off
fuck
for a
his
while. I
grandmother
wasn't
in
really
order to
doing too much
exist
with
was
it. I was doing
slightly
stuff on other social
less
medias, but I'm
cool.
glad
Of
that I
course she's
chose
your
to try and
grandmother,
revive the
you
channel
perverted
to its kind of,
look.
I'd say
This episode wasn't ending, and
pre-2025
it's easy to see
state.
why. Everything about it is amazing. The jokes, the severity of
What are
the
you saying,
situation,
Gardner?
how cleverly all the history stuff ties together, especially the full circle ending. This one is super similar to that Globetrotter one. I'd probably say I enjoyed that one slightly more just for being funnier, but it is slightly. They're both fantastic. Damn, what is this amazing episode?
Yes,
back
man.
to
Thanks
back?
for hanging around,
Space
though.
Pirates attack.
I'll sub
leading
back
to
to
Fry
you.
and Leela accidentally shooting Bender through space with his body beginning to inhabit these tiny little creatures who worship him as a god. It's not the most hilarious around, but Godfell is mostly succeeding
Oh,
in
nice. They give you
showcasing an
extra
inventive
rubber
yet not
bands.
terribly
That's
in your
pretty cool.
face satire on religion and worship. Bender growing attached
If
to
you leave a
kids
comment
watching
on one of my
horrors they
videos,
see
I'll be able to
off face of
find
their
your
belief
account.
sect,
Thanks,
wind up
man.
killing each other over religious differences. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all, is a quote that genuinely goes hard.
Maybe if I hug him real hard, he'll save us from...
I wouldn't have minded if they focused the entire thing around this without the need for the Fry and Leela B story. A rare time I would have appreciated a slower, more casual approach. But overall, this is another terrific one. Some really nice colors at the end, too. Planet Express is at threat of going under, and so they hire a CEO who's traveled from the 1980s to help with their finances.
The first order of business is to blame everything on the guy before me. Professor, I'll ruin you like I ruined this company. Terrific.
The last couple being so good may make this one seem a little worse by comparison, but it's still got a lot of good jokes.
Man,
And the
listen them up.
businessman, while clearly a one-note jerk, pushes Fry into a position of power we rarely see him in, which I thought was interesting. And it's always nice seeing Mom again, her eventually buying the company and firing everyone. Biggest complaint would probably be its fairly underwhelming ending compared to what we've seen from her previously, but still alright. Going around the middle, maybe a bit below.
Oh, they're not
Dude, this
spare,
is
though.
literally 1984. We end on Bender running away and getting cooking lessons from the star chef.
Oh, right. I'm putting them in the wrong bit.
Eventually joining a televised cooking contest and needing to win and junk. This is a bad one to finish with. There's not much notable here. Also not a fan of how disconnected the B story is, as Zoidberg feels guilty after blaming Fry for breaking one of the professor's things. Like, sure, whatever. It's something from a baby cartoon for babies. I thought I was watching Futurama, not Bluey. Fuck that dog. Is it a dog? It just takes way too long to get to the point. Both stories not kicking off until the episode is
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
over. On its own, it ain't bad or anything. I actually like how much the guilt consumes Zoidberg when in reality Fry doesn't give a shit. That ain't enough to make it stand out, sadly.
That's great.
This is without a doubt the best season so far. Sure, there's more episodes than last in here that I didn't like at all, but it's more than balanced out by all the amazing ones.
So here's
In
how
fact,
the
4
X-Wing
out of my
works. I'm
top
going to
5
put one more
episodes of
rubber
the
band
overall
on the thing.
ranking come from season 3. It's weird, there's such a contrast between my favorite and least favorite. Similarly, 4 out of the 5
This is back
episodes
in
at
the day
bottom of my
before
ranking
LEGO had the
is
special
from this
pieces like I
season
showed on the
2.
2012
I'd probably
X-Wing,
say
so
season 1 and 2 of Futurama are more consistent
twist this
quality-wise
bit at the back
to
here.
ride, but the episodes I do like are fantastic and just too good not to recognize.
It is Star
only 50
Wars.
episodes in and only really
And
like
then I've
2
just broke
that I
the
would
bottom.
consider as being flat out bad. That's an accomplishment, really.
It's also
4
got to
was
build
the
the
final
cockpit, but
season
that's
before
kind of
the
how
Fox
the wings
cancellation,
work.
So I'm curious if there was any dip in quality that led to that, or if it was purely ratings.
This
Let's
is the
find
set
out.
we're building right
You know, I
here.
feel to acknowledge the janitor. Season 4 kicks off with more meal pregnancy. Yay! Kif gets pregnant after sharing DNA with someone. Oh, not in that way. Get your mind out of
Mine
the
will
gutter.
probably sit like that on the shelf, to be fair, just for space. But what we're going to do is we're going to take
Drama
this
arises,
bit,
however, when
put it to the
question comes
side,
up.
and we're going to
If all
build
he has to
the
do to get
main
pregnant is touch someone,
cockpit.
then what's to say it couldn't be anyone else on the ship? I love this being the most extreme way to create conflict out of Amy claiming earlier in the episode there's still more she wants to do in life before settling down. Her trying her best to not tell him that she's not ready to have a kid, especially not after finding out it belongs to Leela, which everyone is completely cool with. Wish Amy didn't run away, taking a back seat for the third act, especially since we don't get a scene.
Hi, how's
with
it
her at
going?
all. She just kind of shows up again with all her feelings figured out. But still, I enjoyed this opener. It's pretty wild how consistent Futurama has been for 4 seasons straight. Maybe it's just me, but you can completely rearrange every episode we've looked at so far, and I wouldn't be able to tell you which season it came from. Which I guess is good considering half of them were aired out of order. Kif and Amy have kids now, though. Wonder how often that's gonna come back up. You know, a bunch of these episodes were written by Bob Odenkirk's brother. It's all I think about when I see his credit. It's finally time to learn about Leela's backstory. Turns out I was right, those characters back from the season 2 premiere were her parents, living as mutants down in the sewers of old New York. Wow, can't believe I'm the only person to ever notice that. I love how quickly they let the audience in on it, leaving you to wait for the moment in which they can finally meet as they try their best to avoid her. They do such a
Possibly.
good job of making
I'm
you
not-
think she might not
I'm
get it
50-50 on it,
while
man, which is
sprinkling in small
better
teasers
than where I
towards the
was
eventual
before.
reveal that Leela actually isn't an alien, but instead a mutant. Her parents not wanting her to feel the shame that comes with the stigma that label brings, believing that if they were to give her up, she could have a better life. It gets seriously sad at points, them thinking it's a gift that she'll never have to know that they're her
Look at this,
parents.
this
Like,
cover
what the
looks
fuck? That's
sick.
depressing. They would rather her fucking shoot them than tell the truth. Even still, I'm happy they had their interaction by the end be very short and sweet. Way more effective that way. Curious to see if they'll be brought back anytime soon, since there's no bullshit ending that once again separates them. Was genuinely
No, I
not
wouldn't
expecting
say
that,
so.
and
I'm
it
just
makes
not
me
sure
like
if I
it
want more than one
also,
mod.
one of the best endings out of the whole series.
It's more
I'm
of
so
that.
impressed at how well Futurama manages to balance the comedy with the super sappy, sincere stuff, without one taking away from the other. One of the best of the entire series, without a doubt.
So
If
we'll
I didn't
finish
get
this
down 2 cups of
X-Wing up,
coffee
right?
before watching, I was seriously
I
gonna consider
don't
taking
think
a
I'll
challenge
be
posting
continuing the
opening
stream
and
after
drinking every
that.
time
I
a robot
think,
appears on screen.
like, see when I'm doing a
Think I'd
build,
like
I
to
feel
not
like
have
the
a heart
live
attack
stream
today,
should
sorry.
only be about the build. Like, yeah. Granted, like, I'm not working
Turns
tomorrow,
out
I
your
could
planet
stream
Express
really
ship has
late,
been
but
sentient this entire time. What a coincidence too is it's
I came in to
Valentine's
build the
Day,
X-Wing.
with
Once the
Bender
X-Wing's
falling
built,
in love
that's
with it
connect for
after
me.
it gets a personality upgrade. And by personality upgrade, I mean it's not just voiced by Sigourney Weaver. I usually don't like major motivation shifts happening for no reason between scenes, but in this case, I couldn't help but laugh after they follow up a heartfelt montage with him deciding he's sick of her. her naturally then going mad and trying to kill them all in a big Space Odyssey parody. I find Fry's short subplot pretty underwhelming. One of the weakest romance stories they've done with him and Leela. Him just trying to find the right love heart that represents his feelings towards her. Nothing remarkable. Especially considering how quickly it gets forgotten before the admittedly heartfelt ending.
I did.
Also, I haven't commented on the show's score much,
I
but
was
the
gaming with a
Dragon
friend
ending
before I
montage was
started,
great.
and
Enjoyed it more
he
than
was
the
at.
Jack one.
He's not
The
got
Friends
enough
gag
money
got
for
more
one
than
yet,
it
but I
probably
was
should
letting him
have,
look around
but it
mine.
doesn't even hold a candle
Well,
to
we're-
last.
You know what? It's well worth the 11.5 million that the cheapest one costs.
Look, Morris, it's Leela calling.
I'll do a gaming stream tomorrow and let you
Okay,
see.
sure, go for it. You know, I was not expecting this show to do one of those main characters get superpowers tropes, but again, if there were a show to get away with it, it would be this one. After using a miracle cream that gives humans superpowers, Fry, Leela, and Bender team up to form a new hero team, thankfully being a parody of the more silly comic book heroes rather than the dark, gritty ones that would plague the genre just a few years later. Still, though, I don't think it takes advantage of the trope
Get
enough
the
to be seen
part
as
ready to
anything
make
more
the
than
X-Wing's
okay. Them
nose.
focusing much more on the double life angle with Leela having to choose her family or her responsibilities.
Yeah, the voice.
Definitely my least favorite so far.
Yeah,
I don't care
it's
for
an
this one at
interesting
all.
voice.
The best thing about it are the admittedly fun costumes, though overall it feels like a big waste for this to be the episode that follows up on Leela's parents.
My friend hates it. He's getting the English guy voice.
With proud, upthrust bosoms.
Anyone who laughs is a communist.
So Zoidberg is sent to death after eating the Earth flag, to which
Yeah, the voices are a bit crazy with the
I guess
mentions.
the satire about people getting so up in arms about desecrating a flag, even if said flag is a representation for freedom to do what you want, is amusing, but you get the joke by the 5-minute mark. The rest never feels like it knows where to go with it. Trying to make things more and more extreme without actually finding its footing. Zoidberg refuses to apologize for his beliefs.
Oh, yeah,
until
that's a
his
ban.
species going to war with the Earth before going back on his beliefs and
You
enslaving
got a problem
everyone.
with gay
Doesn't
people or
feel like there was
something?
much of a point to any of this. Damn, these Zoidberg episodes really peaked with the first one. So, you know, what's going on with Hermes?
No, no, that
Immediately
guy's
got red
banned.
flags after the first act focused on Qbert and Hermes' son. I can't be bothered remembering his name, but thankfully it diverts into becoming about Bender getting a job on the crew's favorite show and becoming hugely controversial for his offensive attitude.
John,
Try this, kids at home.
There's a lot of good comedy in their satirizing of TV executives, but I would have expected them to try and have the message of parents being responsible for what their kids watch. Instead, it seemingly goes for the message of celebrities and shows being responsible for their influence on kids, before completely shifting out of nowhere at the end and indeed saying the opposite. I guess all this would make more sense if Bender got a role in a
Yeah,
kid show, but no, it was like a drama.
I'd
or
argue
something.
GTA is
Some
not a
good jokes, but
family-friendly
that's
game,
it.
though.
Anyways, hey kids, try this.
And you can see we're getting the front nose shape.
This is one of the only episodes I'd seen of Futurama before. In fact, it was the first I'd ever seen. You know why, everybody knows this one. The Sad Dog episode. It's funny how this and Luck of the Fryrish are considered some of the series' best because they both follow an incredibly similar structure. After Fry uncovers the remains of his old dog Seymour, we cut back and forth seeing what led to him being there, along with Fry excited at the prospect of the professor cloning him. I think the Bender jealousy stuff works much better here than it did back in that Nibbler one, him being worried that with Fry getting his old best friend back, he won't want to hang out with him anymore.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Not that you need me to say it, but the ending is so fucking depressing.
I do
Fry
like that
eventually
you can
gets the
call like
chance to clone
luxury
him
cars
before
and stuff from
realizing that he lived
within the
only
mansion.
12
That
years after
is
he was
quite cool.
frozen. Him
I
figuring
don't know,
that Seymour
and the
wasn't
office for
forgotten
controlling all
after he went
businesses
missing,
is
and
worth
finally
getting.
deciding to let him go. Before we end in a prolonged shot revealing that Seymour never forgot him, waiting in the same place for Fry to return every single day for every one of those 12 years. Oh god. When I really sit and think about it, it does feel a tad cheap in a way. Like, they fucking knew an idea like this would be a guaranteed tearjerker, but it doesn't make it any less amazing. One of their best, no contest. They definitely made the right move in having it be his dog rather than his mum like initially planned. I think I enjoy Luck of the Fryrish more overall. I could probably go either way on any given day, but I have to keep reminding myself that obviously the sad dog one is going to get to me more. They end on a close-up of him fucking dying for Christ's sake. You know, Luck of the Fryrish features an uplifting ending about the love between siblings rising above any rocky relationship they seemingly had. But the sad dog one is a sad dog. I can't believe this lost the Emmy to 3 gays in a condo. What the fuck were they smoking over there? Boy, I feel bad for the episode that has to follow
Well-
that up. Especially a global warming episode. Boring. I'm joking, of course. Global warming episodes are only mostly boring. With Futurama's take exposing that it was caused by the professor's first robot, every single bot not having to be destroyed. Bender being so attached to a turtle that he's willing to let himself die for the sake of humanity was extremely out of character. Well, never mind. Okay, with how often they do these Bender goes soft stories, I guess it isn't that out of character. But it's sweet. Mainly brought down by just not being all that funny or memorable overall, going near the bottom.
Yeah. This X-Wing is very similar to the one from 2004. Difference is, 04 had a grey nose.
Oh, I recognize that.
And I had
character.
like the
That's
Dagobah
Simpsons
Swamp
punch
stuff
gag.
all over it.
In an attempt to de-age the professor, everyone is accidentally turned back into teenagers. I like that they didn't just use it for one-note gags treating the crew as a collective. Instead, they put the attention onto Leela as she uses this opportunity to have the childhood experiences she never got to with her parents. Damn, they're utilizing them a lot now, that's cool.
Let's all have some tequila to celebrate.
Dad, I'm underage.
Ah, right. Here's a silly straw.
They really have fun with the setup. I like Fry and Leela's date scene a bunch, and them continuing to de-age to the point of potentially
Why did
being
what
unborn
change?
was a visually creative conflict. All things considered,
Oh, why
this is
did
a
the
much more
nose
chill
change?
episode. Might not be
Because
as
those
spectacular as
pieces
others,
didn't
but I still
exist
like that
in white
approach.
back in 2004.
Oh,
I
dude,
think
this
that's
is a
why at
fantastic
least.
topic to explore. With Fry finally
There is some
wondering if his
things
life
like
might
that
have been
through
better
older
off
Lego
being in the
sets.
21st century after feeling underappreciated, out of place, and especially saddened that Leela shows no interest in him.
And I have other amazing powers as well.
Like what?
They bring back a ton of shit here from a bunch of different episodes. Nibbler taking Fry to his home planet, where we find out the reason he wasn't affected by the Brain aliens a while back.
Well, I'm
was
excited to
because
get
him
this one on the
fucking his own
shelf. This is a
grandmother
set
gave him
that
a
I have
genetic immunity,
so many
not
fond
needing
memories
to
of
help
as a
them
kid,
fend off the
so
Brains once again.
putting this one,
They
this will be
even
going
tied all
up
the way
next
back
to
the
Cloud
pilot.
City.
The Brains informing Fry that the entire reason Fry was even sent to the future was because Nibbler was Icy Wiener all along. Ah, crud. And pushed the chair over so he could eventually help them in the future. I love the genuine moral dilemma put in place here. Fry knowing he could go back in time and stop himself from being sent to the future, knowing the catastrophe it causes won't affect him. Obviously, we all know he's going to choose to stay and help Nibbler, but it's more about the journey than the destination in this case.
I do really
Fry
like
finally
this,
getting
right,
the
where
choice
is it?
as to whether or not he
Yeah.
goes.
So,
On its
now
own,
it-
I like Jurassic Park more, but the why of
Nah,
Fry
it's not
shows
really
an
something
excellent
they'd have
job of
done. It
showcasing
wouldn't
the
have looked
potential
right.
Futurama tackling more
I do like this a lot.
serialized
The little
that build upon
computer
seemingly
piece they give you
inconsequential
is the
plot
Death
points from
Star's
previous
trench
seasons.
from the
Even
movie.
cooler, this was apparently planned from the very beginning, with Nibbler's shadow being visible in the background of the pilot. Really fantastic episode here. Hope it's not the only time they attempt this. Pretty sure this is the first to start in the midst of the main conflict as we flash back to see how we got here. All we
What
know
do you
is
mean?
Fry's
Why
on
would I
trial
put it
for
in the
doing something
cupboard?
Involving the cast of Star Trek.
Please recount the events that led you to be guilty.
I've never seen much Star Trek, only a couple of Next Generation episodes, so I'm positive I can't appreciate this as much as someone who's a fan. But it works fine from a newbie's perspective. Fry going on a journey with Spock to find the band's 79 episodes, leading to them meeting the cast and going to war with the creature. who's
I need more
captured them.
explanation, man.
As someone who doesn't really care about Star Trek, I don't really care, to be blunt. I find the flashback angle fairly pointless, especially them continuously switching who's telling it. They were all there, and none of them add anything to what we're seeing. Feels like it was written by a fan making
The one
all
with the
jokes they
lights.
could about the series and its cast. Star Trek fans probably like
What
it,
one
but
with
sadly,
lights?
that
I'm
ain't me.
confused.
The crew are sent out on a mission to retrieve some
Child.
honey. Fry dies. Even little Seymour showed up to his funeral. Ugh. It turns into this big drug allegory, where Leela starts eating the bee honey that causes her to hallucinate.
Right.
Where she's able to meet him in her dreams.
Is this some sort of brain scanner?
Some sort, yes. In France, it's called a guillotine.
I
Yeah.
really love how seriously it's all presented. It's a genuine mystery. She goes crazy, believing that some essence
Oh.
of Fry must still be out there
The
somewhere.
set's not
Before
going
the
in, but the
guilt
rare
consumes her,
layer with
never
the
being able to tell
factory,
when
like,
she is and
ruined
isn't in
it.
a dream.
This was an
Season 4 of
error
the
in the
cast are full of
factory.
bangers.
That's
I was not
going in the
expecting all
case.
this.
But the set will be
Thankfully,
going
the
up on
entire
the
episode
shelf.
having been a dream is nowhere near
I'll
as
show you
anticlimactic
during
as it
the
could have
live.
been, revealing that Leela was the one to get infected by the bee sting all along. It works in that it finally
Yeah.
gives Leela that clarity in her feelings to Fry.
The Combe
But I have no
Stormtroopers in
doubt
the
they'll
case.
go even further with this in the future. What's up next?
Or is that not what you meant?
To contrast that deeply emotional adventure, we have Bender gender bending in order to join the Women's Robot Olympics. Can already tell this is aged poorly.
If you ask me, women today are too stuck up to go out and jiggle their jello like everybody wants them to.
Like, really poorly. Aside from all that stuff, I just find it to be such an average and by-the-numbers take on the common boy pretends to be a girl concept. Like, of course, a guy falls in love with them and they can't decide on how far to take things. There's just nothing much to say. You've seen this a million, possibly even a billion times. Two Bender renovation plots back to
Yeah,
back.
the
This is
glass
rather
display
runway
case.
that people
I'm
wanna
not
feel
putting the
like
set in, but
robots.
because it's
This is
layout.
another
But
solo Bender romp
like
as
when
he
I was a
eventually
kid,
winds
and the
up in a
last time I
desert
bought this
inhabited by
set,
other forgotten
mine
bugs.
had the correct
Boy,
hairpiece.
this
I will
sure
make a
was the
short
character
explaining
Ben's army to
the whole
wage
thing
war
with
on
this
the
figure.
human stories. Bender's
Later on. Yeah,
documentary design
13
is
likes.
funny,
We're
but
doing really
honestly,
well.
this is one of the
7
few
more, and I'll
episodes where
sing
I
that
actively
song.
find myself zoning out.
I don't
It
think
feels
we'll
like a
get
bunch
that
of
7
elements
though,
we've seen before
unfortunately.
rearranged and packaged to something new, even finishing with the none of it was real twist we saw not too long ago. Going around the middle. Honestly, at this point, it's getting a tad infuriating at how many Fry and Leela episodes they have that end in her seemingly wanting to start something with them, only for the next to begin with her vehemently denying him. This being no different.
I know all her moves. Therefore, I've got the upper hand.
The professor asks the crew to guard this box, but no opening it, which they naturally succumb to the pressure of. Everybody getting sucked into an alternate reality. Wait a minute, these designs are from Fortnite too! This is another sci-fi trope I love. Each person's counterpart having to keep an eye on the other. Fry and Leela learning that their alternate universe selves are married. They've had so many good
Let's get
ideas
that
this
in
season.
there.
I'm having trouble at this point deciding which I enjoy
And
more.
it helps keep the nose
This
of
is
the X-Wing.
another I wish could be double the length, just to get all I can out of the concept, especially all the alternate universes at the end. Their fixation on coin flip jokes made me
That's why
laugh
I've-
way more than it should
I'll be
have.
surprised if it goes over the 2-hour mark. Let's leave it at that.
Everyone gets a $300 tax return. Lucky assholes. And so we get a series of interconnecting stories showcasing how
But this
each
has been one of them.
chooses to
Probably
spend
it's up
it.
there as one of my
Maybe it's
favourite
just
ones
because
I've
the
ever
structure
done.
reminded me of 22
I
Short
think,
Films by
right,
Springfield,
that the
but
live
Futurama
build
has a
stream, the
seriously
streams where I
lacking
build stuff
secondary
live will
cast.
always be the more
If
successful
anything, I'm
streams.
impressed they've
And
been able to tell
next
70
week,
stories
next
with
we're going to
relatively the
save
same
these for
characters.
Fridays, the actual
It's a fun
building.
setup, right, for quick
So
gags.
next
Really what you're
Friday,
solid
we'll
in.
build the
But I
Imperial
can't find
Landing
myself
Craft.
latching
I
on
could
to
do
any
it
of the
tomorrow and stuff,
storylines.
but I'd rather
You know,
we spread them
Fry
out.
drinks
Then I'll
coffee, the professor
Final Destination,
engages.
nice.
Again.
It's one of my friend's favourite
Cool.
movies.
I also spent my tax refund on a crazy treatment.
Going a little below the middle. Like usual, not bad or anything, but certainly not the best.
What's up, I'd rather space them out. How often we do those?
Was not expecting the rap opening. I thought I was playing a video in another tab. On a quest to get Fry's nose back, the Omicronian lure wants to cut off Fry's, as they call it, lower horn, so he can use it to rejuvenate his marriage. Their marriage crisis isn't something I'm all that invested in, especially not with how late it comes.
Yeah, there's like a handful of parts. We've nearly done this. But I love this set, and it's one I'll admit I did regret selling my ruined kind of copy I had in 2022. You know, once I bought the other X-Wing, but this was always one that I planned to buy
But
back.
the story isn't entertaining enough to make it stand out all that much.
Final Destination. I know he's quite.
So,
I know he
Fox
likes
had
that movie
informed the
quite a
team
bit.
that the show would not be picked up for a 5th season before the writing of 4 had been completed, which gave them the opportunity to write something that could act as a finale. And so I was ecstatic to see that for said planned finale, they decided to go back to that ending of the Worm Parasite episode, where we see Fry is still secretly trying to learn the holophoner that impressed Leela
Those
so
are the
much.
connectors there for the
Your kid
cockpit.
is great. How hard you say you had to hit him?
Well, fairly hard. Can't believe we haven't focused on the robot devil since the 1st season, but it's nice seeing him again, as Fry trades hands with him in order to be efficient at the instrument, which obviously has demonic ramifications. For the devil, that is, Fry's hands suck. I enjoy that this still works as a standalone episode, with him eventually being hired to write an opera which he uses as the perfect chance to express his feelings for her. Before all these deals with the devil intertwine, causing Leela to go deaf so she can't truly appreciate it, which then leads to her also making a deal with him. It's a seriously strong finale, with great music, an engaging fast-paced story that packs so much in, and yet still has time for a satisfying end that doesn't give any kind of definitive answer as to where things will go, but gives you good enough closure on how they feel about each other. Though it's smart that it left things open for more. Honestly, though, if Futurama ended here, I think it would have gone down as one of the best cartoons ever. Let's hope they don't ruin it. 15
likes. We'll do it.
It's funny, other than like 3 or 4 of these, every episode of the season is either at the very top of my list or the very bottom. 4 out of my top 5 not coming from me, along with 3 of the bottom. Still though, this is definitely the best season yet. I always heard 3 was good, but 4 is fucking fantastic. It feels like the writers really hit their stride and figured out the exact right balance for comedy and drama, perfectly blending serialized elements with fun episodic sci-fi stories. Even if
Love
it
the
would have been
cockpit
nice for the
design.
show to end here,
Like, this would
I
be
can completely see why
completely
there was
different
such
today,
demand for a
but I
revival.
love the way that
A
things
revival
looked
which
back
took the
then
form of
for
full
Lego
strength
Star Wars.
DVD movies. So let's check
Like,
out
just
the
Lego
first
back
time
in that
Futurama
era was
was
just
brought back
brilliant.
from the
It was
dead,
just different.
to see if there was any struggle in yet again finding
I've got
their
quite a
growth.
few 2006 sets. I've got the Sail Barge and I've also got the Star Destroyer from 2006.
You know, it's funny.
What?
You're a wiener!
The old school cockpit piece on
With
there.
reruns performing well on Adult Swim, Comedy Central decided they would step in and produce a set of 4 direct-to-DVD Futurama movies, which would eventually be split up into parts to make up an eventual season 5. Paired with their jump to HD, ooh, the future. I always hate it when I have to cover these TV movie things in a ranking, as I never know whether or not to treat it as one episode or try and rank each part individually. But I finally decided to just keep them as one
Oh,
single
and the
product,
landing gear.
while giving it 4 collective spots on the list.
You
For
didn't hear
example, if
what?
this were to go at, like,
Oh,
number
I was basically
50 or
just saying that
something, then I
this
consider
Lego
that
set
as
being
spots
full
50 to
size and stuff,
47.
it's crazy
Make
because they
sense?
don't do them this way
I
now.
hope. See, you can tell it's a cartoon movie because of all the CG. Futurama returns! And it's like they never left as we quickly get reintroduced to everyone, along with finding out that the Planet Express has been cancelled 2 years ago by the folks at the Box Network. Subtle. This whole opening made me realize this is what my Simpsons movie was advertising when I was a kid. I had no clue what the fuck was going on. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. The movie tries to carry a couple different stories, from her
Yes, I'll
losing
do
his
it
body
if we can get to
to get a new
15
one,
likes
to
before
Lila
I end
getting
the
a new
live.
boyfriend who looks eerily like Fry.
But, I
Can
don't
already
know.
make a couple guesses as to what the twist is. But the main plot features alien scammers taking over the Earth. Them taking major interest in Fry as a tattoo on his ass contains the
That-
secret to time travel. Him eventually choosing to leave the future and live back in his
Well,
original
that fell
time,
right off.
as Bender is sent by the aliens under mind control, tasked with killing him, a Terminator style. Things
What was
quickly get
wrong
more
with that?
and more convoluted as more characters are sent back from later points in the future for various reasons, teasing us with what's to come. It's rather entertaining. I was expecting them to try and make a movie more catered towards new viewers, but surprisingly, they managed to bring a lot from the previous seasons in without it ever feeling bloated or confusing to a new viewer. To someone who had never seen the series before this, I'm sure you could brush a lot of it off as just being weird future shit, like the appearance of God from Godfellas, the Globetrotters making a brief cameo, and Nibbler revealing his true identity to everyone again. We even get to see Fry's nephew from Luck of the Fryrish. There's so much fan service here. Oh god, if there's one complaint I have, which is understandable to be fair, it's that you can really see where each part starts and ends, which is a tad jarring when seeing it try to act as a uniform narrative. For example, Fry deciding to go back to the past and Bender having to kill him only occurs after a 20-minute detour of Bender first being ordered to go back and steal valuables for them. It all works, of course, but it does result in a very stop-and-go piece. At least it all contributes to the eventual ending, like them showing us how Bender's time escapades with stealing the valuables resulted in the events that transpired in the fast forward from the pilot, after Fry's frozen. Stuff like that is great and at least subtly builds to them going back to the past later on without it feeling as if it came out of nowhere. With every other time Fry has gone back to the past, it's never taken the route of actually showing us what he would do with himself, like the anthology segment that results in the time thingy or the previous Nibbler one. Here I'm happy we get a full-blown movie to really devote as much time as they could to one of my most sought-after explorations, getting to see just what he would do with more time in the present. Pass, before getting the most obvious reveal of all, that Leela's boyfriend is the Fry who sent himself back to the past, finally reaching the level of maturity that would win her over. When he figured out he was destined to be with Leela, he then went back and froze himself once again, coming to the future as his more elderly self. For as many nitpicks as I could give it, and for as little new it does, for the most part feeling like a grander retread of a bunch of previous ideas, Bender's Big Score really is a great time, even if the title is a tad misleading. If each of these movies can match a similar level of quality to this, while managing to do enough to stand on their own, then I think this could be a string of fantastic specials. I mean, it's got everything, even Family Guy.
Making sure I'm happy with all this.
Previously on Futurama.
When the fuck did that happen? It's a very charming idea to begin the special taking place within their own little rubber hose cartoon during the opening. I enjoyed that a lot. Look, this is what I'm talking about. We end the previous special possibly with the most clear and cut case of Leela understanding her and Fry are meant to be. Gets a new girlfriend off screen, sure, why not? There's no time for relationship drama, as the world is ending. A massive tear having tore its way through the planet, with the crew going on an expedition to see what's on the other side. Okay, well, maybe a little time for a relationship
Anyone who's
drama.
just joined,
In
we're
reality,
finishing
nobody
off
gives
this
a shit about
build, and
your
why not
opinion.
check out the pinned comment,
As Fry
check out
quickly breaks up
T1.
with her after it's
14
revealed that
likes.
she's part of a polyamorous
One away.
relationship.
It's
This
the most likes
definitely
I've
feels
gotten in
one
a
of those
stream so
stories
far.
You could tell was only there for the sake of making this part work as a standalone 22 minutes. You don't care about her enough to feel as if she weren't coming back for the rest.
If I knew I was going to meet you, I would have done something with my hair.
You should have.
Unfortunately, I find this movie to be much weaker than the last. The threat here being so undefined makes it somehow less engaging than the already pretty one-note aliens from the last. Along with
No,
these
it
characters'
says
conflict
14
feels so
for me.
disconnected. As Fry decides to go to the other side of the universe where he falls in love with this hideous tentacle monster that plans on taking over the Earth. Bender joins a secret robot society, and Amy mourns the supposed death of Kip after their attack on the Terror goes wrong. It's filled with plot contrivances like Farnsworth's simple escape from prison. I don't find his team up with longtime rival Wormstrom to be all that engaging. And worst of all, they bring back Uncle Zoid. Got some good gags, but within an hour and a half, it was bound to get at least a couple laughs out of me. But I feel as if the show has done these Earth takeover plots way too many times. Even if this is by far the most extreme case of it, Fry becoming Pope of the world and mind-controlling everyone, eventually trying to let the tentacle monster die
But
gently.
give it a
before
few
getting
minutes,
consumed in
and
their
it will
interior.
update for me, and
The
once I
apocalyptic
see that
Earth
it's
is well
15, we'll
designed,
do
but
it.
it never feels as if they know which character storyline to give the main focus to. And the robot takeover final act just comes out of nowhere, as well as being a concept they've already done before. It's all over the place, and not in a good way. Good ideas, but pretty mediocre execution.
What's her problem? Somebody die or something?
Kif's dead, Bender.
Nailed it!
No, it's a true animated movie. Oh yeah, Kip is brought back, by the way. The poster for this one looks cool. Intro's neat too. This is probably the least theatrical setup we've seen so far, but at the same time, it's a super fun idea, even if it takes, like, an hour to get into it.
We're trying to traverse the quagmire.
First part sees Leela trying to control her anger while Bender gets addicted to Dungeons and Dragons. So much so that he fails to recognize reality from fantasy, and is sent to an insane asylum. The most consistent
And
plot
we
point
can
between
close
all
the
four
book
parts
on
is
the
dark matter shortage
2006
going on,
X-Wing.
an issue that I don't
Love
find that
this
much
shit.
investment in, as you honestly forget what the entire conflict was even derived from with how distracted it gets by the end. It sucks because there's a bunch of elements I
First
think
live
work
build
incredibly
I've
well
done
on
for
their
you
own.
guys as
Bringing
well.
back Mom as a villain who fabricated the
Oh,
dark
this is
matter
cool. And the
shortage.
figures as
As
well.
the
We
professor
need to get
attempts
them
get
figures
revenge on her
sorted
for
out.
dumping him by finding the dark matter crystal he created back when they were going out. Even though I thought their first episode together established him being the one to leave her. What? It's neat learning more about Nibbler's
Right.
backstory during that third
Let's
portion,
get the wrap
but
up
whole
of the
time I
stream
just couldn't help but
sorted.
wonder,
Couple things I
why
gotta
is
do.
this called Bender's Game? If we don't even
It's my second X-Wing that I've got, which is kind of cool because I've got two TIE fighters. And ironically, I've got the TIE fighter that came out the same era as this with the blue rather than the grey, which is kind of cool. So this is the one from, this is now a 20-year-old set. I do have the one from 2012 as well, which is here. And it's crazy how quickly the X-Wings changed. So, apart, granted, I just broke its canon, but 2006, 2012. Now, I've already done it. I've done it earlier in the stream for you. Thought we agreed I'd sing if we got to 20. Gotta fix this. These can be slightly fragile. Anyway, it still says 14 for me. I'm going to put the 2012 one back in the A New Hope section. But we've got two things to organise here, right? We've got to get this X-Wing in with the Empire Strikes Back stuff. So if I move the training look stuff out the way, I was going to put it in the Hoth base, but that's not going to work for what I want to do. I broke one of the cannons off doing that. 1 second. I tell you, Empire Strikes Back might be my favourite Star Wars movie, so I do enjoy adding a set to its display. Anyway, considering we just added one of the X-Wings, that makes it even cool. Now, we'll have the X-Wing coming kind of here. Let's get the figures next to it. Do you know what, actually, if you come think of it, right, seeing as it's next to Cloud City, right, 180, there we go, I said it. We'll have Luke and R2 be the only figures coming out the X-Wing. Seeing as it is next to the Cloud City scene, so it would only be them that are there. So Chewbacca, Wedge, and Han will go. Is that your way? Because we're not done. We've got a little bit left to go. I'll always put Wedge and the other pilot, Chewbacca, I suppose, in Endor. Not Endor, Hoth. Just so that they're there. Leia, however, Leia's the standout minifigure here. Leia gets to go in the case. Because Leia's worth about 300 quid. Let me show you where we got things. So we got the X-Wing's up here in the Empire Strikes Back. We've got Luke and R2 next to it. Looks pretty decent. I do need to rearrange these figures now because they were currently sitting there. But I figured I can't have on Cloud City's landing pad because I put the Vulcan there. And you've got that kind of whole scene going on. Let's change things up inside the display case. Move a couple of things here. I've got sitting there just so I don't hit them with the case's door. But I've got them arranged by what year the figure came out. Not so much by rarity. I'm not too sure. I did consider doing it that way, but I wasn't too sure how I would do it. So, I'm going to take all these other ones out. But I will have a YouTube short coming out. I'm going to have at least 2 planned for tonight. One of which will explain, because I know what you guys... Anyone who's kind of new to LEGO Star Wars or isn't quite in as deep might not understand the smooth hair layer thing. As I found out, it did confuse a few people, so I will make a thing giving explanation to the smooth hair layer. And there we go, we've got her on a stand. I'm doing them by what year the figure came out. So that's 2010, 2011 would be Wolf and the Earth. Yeah, it is looking pretty good. So that would be 2012. So it'll be Malgus and TC-14. And, you know, we've got these two Clone Wars minifigures as well. That these two, the clones from 2014, sort of the two rare ones. Oh, hey. That, and now take the camera over and show you. It's going well. We just finished building the 2006 X-Wing. Got really nice sitting there. And since it had the rare version of Leia, which I'll open the cabinet and show you, where she got factory error hair. So essentially, I'm going to make a short and upload it here explaining the difference because a lot of the newer fans don't get it. But this Leia with this hairpiece is meant to be textured and detailed. But unfortunately, due to factory error, a lot of them came out this way, but they are worth quite a bit of money. And I got this in my sealed X-Wing, so it kind of adds to the rare minifigure thing going on in the cabinet, which I'm quite happy about. Also, still got to sort out the other parts of the cabinet, but I've not quite figured that one out yet. That does look nice up there. I've got a few things left to sort out. This has probably been one of the most successful streams. which makes me quite happy, you know, because, by the way, that's the set we just built. That makes me happy because if you guys, doing how well this seems to have done, doing a live build of a, I'd say a small, I don't want to say a small set, like it's bigger than what a modern Lego X-Wing seems to be. They don't seem to be as big. The Darth Vader box art on sets from 2006 with the lava is just nice. It's legendary. Right. Even though there's nothing in the box, it's still going back up where it was because I did like actually having this box on display. Granted, it's not a Return of the Jedi set, but it works up there anyway. Right, so I need to get a small bag and bag up some parts that I've now got sitting around as a result of this. So when I'm doing the review of the X-Wing, I do need to take into account, right, that you could change the pattern on the wings to reflect which pilot between Wedge Antilles and Luke Skywalker. So I've got all the little parts for doing that. I'm going to place them inside this bag here, as well as, you know, the spare parts you get in the set. But it's a pretty nostalgic set from my childhood. Putting that back up there is pretty cool for me. So, thank you. So, to all those watching, that was a fun live build we got to do there. I'm just going to tie it up so we can talk. But I'm not going to do these too frequently, right? If I have the stuff to build, live builds will be on Fridays. If it was a particularly big build, like went out and bought a bloody UCS set, right? I would try and do them multiple days in a row. But if it's something like that X-Wing there, where it can all be built within the space of a stream, I tell you one thing, I've got to love how nice that set is up there. Granted, it's a minor set. You can probably only slightly see it on the screen, but like there's a lot of you guys who have been collecting Lego long enough to the point where like it's nostalgic will understand my whole thing with that set. Just got to fold up the table for the stream. Put that back right here. But I'm very happy with how all that turned out. Even cooler getting a smooth hair Leia, which again there'll be a short coming out for that. I think that'll be one of the better shorts. I tell you one thing, right? I wasn't doing shorts for the longest time on here. I intentionally just couldn't be bothered doing them. I regret that so heavily. Same with streaming on here. Because like, as I've been saying on these streams, right? Between the end of 2024 and most of 2025, I focused my creative attention on other social media platforms. And this kind of suffered as a result. But yeah, this channel is now beginning to flourish again. But really happy. It's another one of my childhood sets back on the shelf. There's quite a few of these. The two that I always gravitate to the most are the 2006 X-Wing and the 2011 Falcon. Nice, I've got them near each other on the shelf. Let me show you guys one last time. Got Falcon there from 2011, and over here we've got the X-Wing. Got to love how nice that looks. But anyway, with all that said, we could have continued the stream. I was considering it, doing a gaming thing, but honestly, I'm tired. And as I was saying earlier, say I set out and the stream's goal is to build that X-Wing. Since that X-Wing's done, we're not doing anything further. That's kind of how I want to do it. But I'll try and buy some small sets so we can do it most Fridays. That would be kind of the way I want to do it. But, you know, it's the first live build we've done since this, so I'm very happy with that. Been a very successful stream. And I will see you guys later on. Check out those shorts on the Smooth Hair Leia. And who's in there. And the X-Wing they'll be up later on. Thank you very much for watching.